I will be at minimum slightly late. Just warning you. Oh man, folks, I do not feel good today at all. Most gruesome sickness has been set upon me. The wasting disease. I'm dying. I mean, I have a tummy ache. Which is really annoying because we have like so much to do today. Hold on one second. While I beseech the old gods to rid me of my illness, let me get you ADHD riddled babies on something. One second. You heard about this cool channel called Not Just Bikes? I feel like shit, man. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Good luck, guys. I'll be right back. I love you. Also, Not Just Bikes loves you. He told me so.
I make videos about how walkable cities are more efficient, more environmentally friendly, more financially sustainable, and just better places to live. So given these benefits, it's not surprising that cities all around the world are trying to build more mixed-use walkable neighborhoods and viable alternatives to driving. Unfortunately, as engineers, planners, and advocates try to repair the mistakes of the 1960s and build the cities of the future, there's a growing trend that could undo all of that hard work: the growth of SUVs and light trucks. I really don't think it's an exaggeration to say that if there's a positive goal that cities have for the future, SUVs fight against that. They're just bad for cities. Really bad. If you're walking and you get hit by an SUV, you're 3 times more likely to die than if you've been hit by a regular car. And if you're in that regular car, you're more likely to die in a crash if it's with an SUV. SUVs are more likely to hit people in the first place because they're big, unwieldy, and have poor visibility. SUV drivers themselves are twice as likely to be killed in a rollover than car drivers. SUVs make congestion worse because they take up more space on the roads, they have terrible fuel economy too, and the list goes on and on. And to be completely honest, I'm making this video because I'm absolutely fed up with the conversation around SUVs and light trucks. We're constantly being told that doing anything about the astronomical growth in the average size of motor vehicles would infringe on the freedoms of people to do whatever they want. But your freedom to swing your arm ends where my face begins, and SUVs are a giant punch in the face to everyone who doesn't drive one. In short, SUVs are oversized, ridiculous, unnecessary death machines that are literally killing people, even their own drivers. So let's look at why they're so popular. If you went back in time about 40 years, you wouldn't really see any SUVs. If you lived in a rural area, you might see a small pickup truck or a bare-bones Jeep used for hunting or farming. But until fairly recently, pretty much everybody drove a car or maybe a van. But today, light trucks and SUVs make up almost 80% of all new car sales in the US. 80%. The auto industry has been heavily pushing these vehicles for years, and it's been done to avoid regulations, meaning more profit for car manufacturers. This is possible because in America, SUVs are classified as light trucks, which aren't subject to the same safety and emission standards as cars. Light trucks originally referred to commercial vehicles that needed to carry or tow heavy loads or traverse difficult terrain. To facilitate this, light trucks have large engines and stiff frames, both of which are disastrous for fuel economy and safety, but more on that in a second. And it all started because of these f***ing chickens. In 1962, Europe placed a heavy import tax on American chickens. In retaliation, America levied import taxes of their own. They specifically targeted European light trucks that were typically used by small businesses, and since foreign automakers were already producing better and cheaper cars, the declining American auto industry really wanted to shift to a vehicle where they didn't have to compete, because, competition is for suckers. So that carved out light trucks as its own category in America, but what really kicked off the explosion of SUVs was, ironically, fuel efficiency regulations. The Corporate Average Fuel Economy, or CAFE standards, required all automobile manufacturers in the US to improve the average fuel economy of their entire fleet or face financial penalties. But here's the catch. American automakers lobbied hard so that light trucks were classified differently than passenger cars. This was necessary, they argued, because unlike cars, light trucks were used by honest, hard-working, red-blooded American patriots like this guy. I asked an AI art program to make this picture for me, which is why he has this dead look on his face and his pickup has an extra door hanging off the side. So rather than build cars that met CAFE standards, auto manufacturers were incentivized to get as many people to buy light trucks as possible. The first SUVs could be classified as light trucks because they were built in the same factories and using the same body-on-frame construction as traditional pickup trucks. These SUVs were basically pickup trucks with a longer roof. This allowed American car manufacturers to save a lot of money by using existing design parts and factories, and of course, it also allowed them to avoid any regulations for passenger vehicles, including safety regulations, because these were, after all, light trucks. So this saved the auto manufacturers a lot of money and avoided regulations, but there was a problem. How were they going to convince people to buy a vehicle that was impractical, uncomfortable, ugly, and dangerous? The book High and Mighty, written by a Detroit automobile journalist and published in 2002, documents the history of how SUVs came to be, and it was one of the books that helped radicalize me against car dependency. And while this book is rather out of date today, the history of the SUV is still very relevant. The earliest SUVs were Jeeps marketed to rich guys who went hunting on the weekends. Marketers used this outdoorsy image to lure people who wanted to be cool. Hey, you might live in suburbia and work a super lame desk job in a business park, but you're still the kind of guy who might maybe someday go on a camping trip, and this is the car to do it in. No, don't look at that significantly more practical car over there. Station wagons are for losers and boomers. And this marketing approach saw some modest success, but the real winning strategy was to make scared people feel safe. Early focus groups showed that Americans were obsessed with crime and violence, so
Folks, if I make it through something that approximates full stream length time today, that'll be a goddamn miracle. What's up, people? Hey, if you want to watch more, then consider checking out the YouTube channel, Not Just Bikes, where the stuff he talks about includes not just bikes. Look, 3.5 million views. You can participate in the cultural zeitgeist by watching the video. Oh, good Lord. Hello, people. What's up? Oh, God. I'm fucking dead today, man. I woke up, I guess I just slept wrong, but I woke up with the worst lower back pain. Like, I must have slept in a very dumb configuration. I don't know. Position. Um, Skill issue? Probably. Vaxxed. True. Excuse me. How do you feel about Not Just Bike's take on urbanism in the U.S.? I heard people were mad about it in Blue Sky. Everybody who's unironically mad at Not Just Bikes needs to not hurt themselves. I'm so fucking tired of seeing good content creators and good people in this space get torn apart over the tiniest little... Listen, it is normal for good people to say stuff that you occasionally disagree with, or even stuff in bad temperament, or even stuff that they might later change their mind on. Like, like, people expect this, like... First of all, let's be clear about something, okay? 90% of you would crumble in 24 hours of handling anything even close to the attention that I or Not Just Bikes get. So if you were in this position and you think you have a consistent set of positions or whatever, you would falter immediately. You would crumble like cardboard, okay? At high tide, all right? You would be gone. And even for those of you who didn't crumble immediately, eventually, inevitably, you would say something out of irritation or genuine disagreement or a thing you hadn't thought fully on or a thing that you have thought on but you have a contrary take or a different set of perspectives, and people are going to freak out over it, okay? And the people who are acting like, because Not Just Bikes is some kind of, like, traitor or enemy to his positions because he has, let's be fair, a kind of doomer take on urbanist change in America. Come on! That's all? Really? He's a family man. He moved over to the Netherlands so that he could raise his children in an environment where, like, there were ways to die other than getting flattened by a Ford F-150, you know? Or fentanyl, I guess. And he's like, yeah, I just don't think we're going to see much change in our lifetime over in America because America's fucked. And people are like, how can you say? Because you know there are a lot of people who treat his shit as gospel. So they're like living in fucking middle America or something. And they're like, please, Not Just Bikes, tell me how within 10 years I can have a bike lane in the middle of my highway offshoot city. And the answer is, you won't. You won't. You'll never get to see that. You'll live and die in car-centric hell, okay? But you know what you get that your fucking ancestors didn't? You get vaccines and you get Rice Krispie treats, okay? So quit being such a fucking doomer, all right? We try our best to make the world better, but quit. It's like the people who are like, well, when will I get to experience socialism? You won't. Nobody ever has. Sorry, bucko. That's the way it is sometimes. That's the problem with wanting things to be better. It involves acknowledging that things right now aren't, okay? Hell yeah, Alec Hunter. Yeah, plant a seed for a tree you'll never see and shit. Yeah, literally, it's like going to a big avenue that has no trees and planting seeds where the trees are going to grow, and then being like, when will I get to sit in the shade of the tree? You don't. You don't. That's not the point. So I won't experience socialism? Correct. But you can make the world a better place anyway. Plant a seed for that untrimmed ass beard. What the fuck are you talking about? How can you look at this and make an untrimmed beard joke? What, like, that doesn't even make any sense. Everyone's cringing at you right now. Everyone saw that message and they're thinking, ugh, missed the mark on that one. What are you talking about? No, he's interested in change. He just doesn't think that it'll meaningfully happen within our lifetime over in America. Hot mensch. Um, Has anyone played Pseudo Regalia? It's an indie 3D platformer that just came out, and you play as a goat lady with her ass out while you're playing it. Like, her ass is out. So you're just jumping around, and she's got a big fat goat ass. The movement is so good. It feels really good, yeah. Isn't it kind of weird how, like, okay, in terms of, like, furries and how people make, like, furry OCs or sexualize them, cats and dogs make sense because cats and dogs are both very, like, human animals. Like, they're very expressive, they're very smart, they're good pets, that kind of stuff. But isn't it weird how goats are also really sexualized, despite IRL goats being, like, really ugly? Like, in real life, goats are, like, smelly, eat anything weirdos. But for some reason, when you, like, anthropomorphize the characteristics, then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, wow, that goat lady is really hot, you know? Undertale, Raru, you know what I mean? Shut up and look at this dog. This is a Hassan clip, but we're about to make fun of Hassan. We have to look at the good Hassan stuff after the bad so that it balances out appropriately. Yeah, honey. Thank you for the drawing, Sapien, or something. What are you canceled for? Here we go. It's gotten a lot harder to look at the tweets of people who hate me. Now that it's not possible to look at Twitter through incog mode. Like, if they block me, then they've blocked me, you know? So basically, I got epically canceled over this, if you can believe it. So in response to some drama going on in South Africa, where a big rally held by the EFF had them chanting "Kill the Boer," I said that the EFF is the Kill Whitey party, and I'm correct. Obviously, I'm completely correct. But people freaked out over this, and I feel like it's very important to go over stuff like this because it really highlights the differences between my leftism and the fake leftism that a lot of other people tout. Just a couple of the replies, a couple of the things we can look at, and then we can substantiate my claim that the EFF is in fact a Kill Whitey party. So we'll get to that, okay? Yeah. By the way, guys, I don't know what like curse I received, but Professor Flowers to hear, it seems like a significant portion of my career has to be sort of centered around explaining that you can't genocide all white people in South Africa. Like that is like the crux of my content forever. But why not? Well, I think it would be bad. In my opinion, personally. Why'd you kill Mandela with his own hands? Well, the funny thing is that the EFF doesn't get along with Mandela's party. Mandela's party, it represents like the majority opinion in South Africa and also kind of like a reformist attitude towards economic and racial inequality. And the EFF is, as previously described, the Kill Whitey party. The EFF don't like Mandela. I'm pretty sure they generally argue that he's collaborationist, and like milquetoast liberal. You know what I mean? He didn't kill the Whitey. You see, he failed in that specific regard. Anyway, let's take a look really quick. Okay, so I like the top comment here because I think it's really indicative of where these guys' brains are at. Vosh is definite proof that white people see themselves as managers and supervisors of non-white people. Does he have a dog in this fight? Why should he care about South Africa? But this is what racist white American people do. He can't help himself. So this person has hashtag Free Palestine in their handle right here, which makes this especially funny because I somehow doubt they're actually Palestinian. I don't know where they come from on the whole like internationalism thing, but I was under the impression that if we have ethical positions, we should probably try to uphold those like globally and not just go, well, they're not American, so who cares? Which seems like a conservative position. Like, is that a Marxist take? Like, yeah, South Africa, that's not in the good old US of A. Who cares? Like, what are we talking about here? You know? Then there's a post saying that I don't like South Africans decolonizing and getting their land back, which is funny because that's not really what we're talking about here. It goes on like this for a while. Bosch makes me sick. The singing of the song Dubul Ibhunu, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, was not hate speech, said this judge. Unsurprising opinion from the land back as white genocide guy. Of course, I've never actually said land back as white genocide, but they like to say that I say that. Oh, wait, and then there was the quote tweet, and people get upset when I say Vosh is far right. Okay, so the problem here is that, like, you know how a lot of white people in America who are, like, far right or Nazis, like Lauren Southern or whatever, pretend that white farmers in South Africa are experiencing a genocide? To be clear, they're not. There are a lot of murders that take place in South Africa because the country is, let's be fair here, kind of a shithole. Though less so than a lot of its neighbors. It's rough down there. But most of those murders are in cities between the majority residents of the country against other majority residents of the country, i.e. black-on-black violence. White farmers are disproportionately not targeted. Not only is there not a genocide going on against white farmers in South Africa, white people in South Africa have a level of disproportionate wealth that would make white people in America blush. Seriously, in terms of, like, okay, when apartheid ended, just to be clear, all the shit the white people owned did not magically get redistributed. A lot of those families kept it, you know? So not only is there not a genocide of white people going on over there, but also the white people over there are doing pretty darn good. Now, what I am saying is that if there was a genocide of white people over there, a lot of white internet leftists would defend it. So this is a little video where I intend to substantiate my claim that the EFF is in fact the Kill Whitey Party.
Now, the way a sentence is structured, you say, we are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. That means at some future date...
Oh, sorry, this is Julius Malema. He's the leader of the EFF.
We may call for the slaughter of white people. Is that correct?
Let's deal with that at that future date. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying you are not ruling out that in the future you may very well call for the slaughter of white people?
It may not be me.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes, but it may not be me.
Yeah, so it could be you. You could, at some future date, call for the slaughter of white people.
What will necessitate that?
You tell me.
I don't know. Why would I do that?
You've said you could do it in the future. Is that correct?
I can't guarantee.
Do you notice in his language we're actually hearing the same types of rhetoric that we see in neo-Nazis here in the United States? Where they'll go like, well, I'm not saying that, but like maybe in the future people will, well, what would the people have to do to like justify those calls for violence? You know, oh, well, I'm not saying I'll say it. I'm just saying like people might say it. Yeah, it's literally Pepe posting. Yeah.
Guarantee that I can't do it.
It is literally the same as the Professor Flowers argument. So maybe like, well, the funny thing is this happened after the conversation with Professor Flowers. So I think what happened was Julius Malema watched the Professor Flowers debate. It was inspired by her rhetoric. That's my belief.
Do it.
So right now,
so I'm not ruling out that possibility.
If I asked you to pledge to say, I will never call for the slaughter of white people, would you make that pledge?
I will do it with ease.
Make that pledge.
Why would I do that?
I'm asking you to make that pledge. You said I will do it.
I won't do it.
Make the pledge.
I won't do it.
You won't do it?
Yes.
I understand.
So Julius Malema is his main like body politic, the main thing that he represents and stands for is hatred of white people. If you are a black South African, there are legitimate socioeconomic reasons to not like white people. Some stuff's happened in the country. I'll let you know. Some wacky stuff. However, you know, I don't think that makes it good politics to do genocide, in my opinion. That's just my leftist opinion, that genocide is not the answer. So Julius Malema has been doing this for years, and he's been subject to a number of political and legal challenges for this rhetoric. There have been times where his language has been found to be hate speech, if I recall correctly, and there have been times when it hasn't been. You saw in one of those Twitter posts a reference to a time that the singing of the song Kill the Boer, I think that's how it's pronounced, it might be Boer, I don't actually know, was not found to be hate speech. You know, they go back and forth on this. It's basically like a free speech argument, right? But in this testimony
For the
right
slaughter.
here, sorry, I didn't mean to play the audio again. It's pretty clear whether or not the song itself is a call for genocide. He is okay with advocating for genocide. Like he is saying, you know, regardless of the content of the song itself, we may call for the killing of all white people in the future, and I'm not going to take that off the table. So it's pretty unambiguous, right? The song Kill the Boer, but I'm just, however I pronounce it, you know what I'm talking about, okay? I believe Boer is a reference to a specific ethnic group of Dutch descendants, and the name of the ethnic group originally was like Burger or something. Like the Dutch Burgers came over 5 million years ago, and the Boers is just like the new modern term for that. Most people use the term Afrikaner, which generally means like the primary ethnic group of white South Africans, which are Dutch in descendant, though there are some British people, comma Rhodesia, comma it's complicated. But oftentimes, as I understand it, when they say kill the Boer, Boer probably is farmer. Yeah, it's the ethnic group that is associated with the white farmers, but they're not all white farmers. You understand? Like, it's larger than that. I think the number of Boers in the South Africa are technically like 1.5 million, whereas the number of Afrikaners altogether are something in the ballpark of 5 or 6 million. But here's the thing, they're often used interchangeably. You understand what I mean? So, like, when you're saying kill the Boer, kill the Afrikaner, whatever, there's a huge, like, overlap in what these terms are used as, like, colloquially. You understand what I mean? Obviously, being the fact that the EFF is the Kill Whitey party, it's not like they're that concerned with, like, hyper-specificity. It's not like they're like, yeah, we want to kill off this specific Dutch group of descendants, but we don't want to kill off, like, this other Dutch-adjacent group. Yeah, like obviously, there's a ton of overlap there, which is why, you know, he's not saying, oh, I'm not calling for the death of white people, I'm calling for the death of Boers. Like, no, it means white people, right? Yes, the British fought against the Boers. And as I learned earlier today over Twitter, the British actually put some of the Boers in concentration camps in that conflict. So a lot of wacky stuff going on down there. Wacky stuff. You know, it's a whole thing with Rhodesia. Just, we can't do the whole bit right now. Yes, my great grandmother was held in one. Jesus. So, why go over this? Well, one, I'm being canceled for it. Avash is far right for not thinking that the genocide of white people is good. Man, if that ever actually did happen in South Africa, I gotta say, it's pretty disheartening to know that the Western left would jump on top of it. Like, the EFF is not a leftist party. The EFF is like a holdover from that era of political parties where obviously far-right parties would say anything to get Soviet support. Like, the party that Saddam Hussein controlled was the Socialist Party, you know? Was Saddam Hussein socialist? Was Iraq socialist? No. But saying they were socialist did get them support from the Soviets for a time, because the Soviets would toss arms at literally anyone who would call themselves socialist. Yeah, they were Arab nationalists, and the EFF are like, you know, black South African ethno-nationalists. We can take a look at their specific policy prescriptions, but first of all, in my opinion, and I feel like this is okay for me to say, if the primary rallying cry of a political party is ethnic cleansing, I think that's bad on its own. I feel like without any qualification or justification, I think that right off the bat, I can point at that and go, yeah, that's pretty bad. Now, I'm not against the redistribution of wealth or resources that white South Africans have to black South Africans. I think that's great. I think that a number of economic and political policies could be taken that would massively address inequality. I'm not okay with the genocide part. That's the part that I don't like, in my opinion, personally. You won't support genocide, but you will support not liking sushi. Exactly. Spectacular. Yeah, so we can take a look at the EFF and Julius Malema, and I want to really quickly because I have a feeling this is going to be an increasing problem as time goes on. But I want to substantiate like where this is coming from. Okay? So, as is often the case for political parties that will throw out a just wide range of vaguely populist messages without qualifying or substantiating them, the Wikipedia page for the EFF lists the EFF as every ideology all at once: communism, Marxist-Leninism, Fananism, Sankarism, anti-capitalism, anti-imperialism, Pan-Africanism, black ultranationalism, anti-Zionism, anti-white racism, anti-Indian racism. Right. So, you know, that's super cool. You'll notice that if we actually go down to the ideology and policy sections, we don't get much in the way of specific things they want or want to do. But you know, we can read over it really quick, and then we'll get Julius Malema's turn. Okay, we'll take a look. It criticizes the African National Congress and their primary opposition, the Democratic Alliance, for their allegedly pro-business stances, which it claims have sold out the black people of South Africa to capitalism as cheap labor. That seems like a substantive criticism. It promises to tackle corruption, provide quality social housing, and provide free primary health care and education for all, as well as proposing to expropriate white-owned farmland, nationalize the mining and banking sectors, double welfare grants and the minimum wage, and end the proposed toll system for highways. Hey, that sounds pretty nice. I will note something, though. Historically, take all the farmland from the white people has not been a spectacular policy internally. Usually because if you just seize wide swaths of industry and resources from a different ethnic group and kind of like kick them off it, yeah, Mugabe being the prime example here, the problem is that you're kind of kicking off the people who know how to work the land, you know? There's like this very romantic socialist a fantasy of like the proletariat, or the black proletariat in this case, will rise up and like they'll just do the thing but better with less corruption. But in reality, it's actually extremely disruptive to just kick out the farmers and then put new people in their places, and that usually causes problems like starvation, which is not good. Right. Zimbabwe literally went from one of the richest countries in Africa to poorest. Well, to be fair, Zimbabwe's wealth was not exactly representative of the authentic wealth of the country. That's because at the time Zimbabwe was Rhodesia, and the wealth was from wealthy British people who wanted to LARP as slave owners, flying down there to, you know, build like plantation fortresses with their servants. So there's a lot going on over there. Critiques of capitalism, businesses, foreign policy. They support Russia's invasion of Ukraine. That's right. They're not one of the vast majority of countries that are like Russia aligned just took a neutral position. They actively support the invasion of Ukraine, which was only done by a few countries. This is like North Korea, Syria territory, you know? They have called the Chinese Communist Party the, quote, torchbearer for all Marxist-Leninist formations in the world. Hey, they support the rights of the LGBTQI plus community. Got to remember those intersex people. Critical of Uganda's 2023 anti-homosexuality bill. Nice, nice. Later in 2023, the party was strongly criticized by members of the queer community for inviting Patrick Lumumba, a Kenyan professor known for making homophobic statements. Okay, right, great. Now, as for the people who support the EFF, the party's supporters are younger than average, with 50% of them being younger than 24. Wow. Hey, a statement to be made here, perhaps, about radicalism and social alienation driving young people towards, like, empty radicalism without, yeah, the kids are not all right. Overwhelmingly black and mostly male, with a 2-to-1 support from men relative to women. That's interesting. That's, like, weird, right? Like, the Republican Party is pretty anti-woman. And what are they, like, 64? Not even 60. They're, like, 58, 42? I don't know the exact proportion for the Republican Party. Pretty wild, though. Predominantly male. Right. Imagine the 1% whites supporting going to an EFF meeting. I saw a picture of them. EFF. Wait, hold on. Whites for EFF. I saw them in a t-shirt. Yeah! This is like blacks for Trump, but worse. Because Trump doesn't literally go on stage and scream, kill the black people, you know? All right? These guys have decolonized their shirts. The 1%. You guys remember that, back before he got canceled, the Channel 5, where there were the Uhuru, like white girl or whatever, where she was like she was wearing like the Africa shirt. Trump does it in dog whistle form. Trump doesn't dog whistle kill all black people. He's racist certainly, but there's like a ridiculous level of forthcomingness with the EFF. But you know, anyway, Julius Malema. So let's take a look at this guy directly. So this guy is much more storied than the party he represents, and that's because I could be wrong on this, and maybe people in chat will disagree with me. But my impression is that the EFF is the Julius Malema party. That he is like an essential, like he is the crux of it. It kind of lives or dies on him. He's been with it for a while. He is the support, you know? 80% of the article is hate speech. Yeah, where's the hate speech section real quick? Involvements in state contracts, threat to journalists, investigation, and money laundering, tax evasion, hate speech, and legal issues. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, no, not 80%. Pretty good, though. Okay. So what is my man about? All right. Ostensibly a far left-wing party leader, which he founded in 2013. He's been involved in politics since basically the beginning, became a member of the ANC. That's the Mandela Party in South Africa, correct? At the age of 9, and was elected president of the ANC Youth League. But then he got expelled from the ANC because he was too radical. I think he couldn't stop saying we need to kill white people, so he got kicked out. I think it actually was kind of something like that. Sanctioned by the ANC for various disciplinary infractions, he campaigned for Zuma to be removed from office ahead of ANC's 53rd National Congress, expelled from the ANC for bringing the party into disrepute. Yeah, he's a wacky guy, very, very radical. Malema was described by both Zuma and the premier of Limpopo province, Casel Matheo, as the future leader of South Africa. Less favorable dispositions paint him as a, quote, reckless populist with the potential to destabilize South Africa and spark racial conflict. He's been convicted of hate speech twice, once in March 2010 for demeaning comments about Zuma's rape accuser. And once again in September 2011 for singing Shoot the Boer. So that's what they were singing again. In 2012, he was charged with fraud, money laundering, and racketeering. After numerous postponements, the case was dismissed by the court in 2015 due to excessive delays by the National Prosecuting Authority, leading to perceptions the charges were politically motivated. However, AfriForum announced in 2018 it would mount a private prosecution of Malema on the corruption charges. So, wacky guy, wacky guy, wacky guy. All right? Hero of the people, right. Okay. So, there's the complicated stuff early on. We've gone over a lot of this on stream before, and I don't want it to just be a repeat. I just really want to establish how obvious and direct this is, you know? The EFF ostensibly represents a lot of good things, but you know what? So does the fucking North Korean party, you know? You can say you're in favor of all these things all you want, but what matters is what you care about. And I just feel like if your rallying cry is like a call for genocide against white people, that's probably your priority, not, you know, any of the other good stuff you claim to care about. Here we go. Malema became a vocal advocate of nationalizing South African mines. He advocated the seizure of land without compensation and the removal of the willing buyer, willing seller principle. So what he's talking about is, rather than the idea of we should take back the disproportionately held land by the government buying it out, he's saying the government should just take it. At a 16th of June Youth Day celebration, Malema accused white South Africans of, quote, stealing land, and again advocated for the redistribution of land without compensation. In April 2010, Malema led a youth delegation to Venezuela to study that country's nationalization program. Could probably find a better place to learn economic policy from. Um, Jesus. Yeah, what did he find out from there, out of curiosity? Malema made a series of controversial comments about the political situation in neighboring Botswana. He described the ruling Botswana Democratic Party as a footstool of imperialism. Yeah, probably. Security threat to Africa and always under constant puppetry of the United States. He announced the Youth League's plan to establish a, quote, Botswana command team, which would assist Botswana's opposition parties in uniting to oppose the BDP's, quote, puppet regime. Veiled swipe on Zuma's regime. Disciplinary proceedings, firing and appeals, more boring procedural stuff. And now here, the EFF, the foundation of the EFF. He was elected unopposed as president of the EFF. Makes sense. He created the party. Initially won 25 seats in the National Assembly. Though he continued to claim even years later the ANC had rigged the election in Gauteng. I mean, the ANC is pretty corrupt, so that's not necessarily an invalid complaint. Malema has been ejected from parliament several times. In June 2014, he was ejected from the State of the Nation debate after he refused to withdraw a statement to the effect that the ANC government had murdered mine workers during the Marikana massacre. He and several other EFF members were ejected from Zuma's 2015 State of the Nation address after loudly insisting they be permitted to question Zuma about the Nkandlagat scandal. I don't know much about that. In fact, I don't know anything about that. Malema said in response that South Africa was a police state, forcibly removed by the House by Sergeant of Arms. Vosh, but what's wrong with not compensating land seizures? I would consider deportations genocide, but that's something else. It's bad policy for the most part when you have the ability to do it through compensation. Because if you're literally just stealing shit, like he's essentially saying is that like wealthy white people are open to having shit stolen from them without compensation. Not only does it scare away investment, but that's a broader stuff. It's also like if you have a broad policy about like imposing limits on wealth or land ownership, then just have that law, you know? The precedent and the interest there doesn't seem to be about setting a standard for a wealth cap. It's not like the EFF leaders aren't wealthy, you know? It's the precedent there is like if you don't, you know, if you don't like white owned property or white owned wealth or whatever, then you can just take that specifically. In addition to that causing a lot of unnecessary antagonism and fucking things over, it seems like the main reason you would do that is not to get the land, it's to show that you can do that to white people. Does that make any sense? Like the reason you would go that direction and say it that way and push it for that reason is not to like save the state money on reform. He said it like, why should we pay them for our land? As in, why should black people have to pay white people for black land? It's to send a message. It's an intimidation thing. Yeah. And if you want to do that to the wealthy, then fuck yeah, sure. I'm okay with class conflict. I don't like instigating racial conflict if it's not necessary, you know? That's the main thing. Malema spoke out against the white genocide conspiracy theory on August 23, 2018, and was critical of comments made by U.S. President Donald Trump. I know that guy. After he had instructed his Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to investigate South African farm attacks, claiming it was, quote, absolute rubbish to say there's white genocide, Malema said South Africans would not be intimidated by Mr. Trump, and the U.S. president's intervention into the domestic land rights issue only made him more determined. At a media briefing at EFF headquarters on the same day, Malema stated there is actually black genocide in the U.S. They are killing black people in the U.S. Black people are even being killed in South Africa. He also made an allegation that there's a group of right-wingers who are being trained by Jews in Pretoria to be snipers. The South African Jewish Board of Deputies subsequently issued a statement denouncing Malema, calling his comments, quote, typical of his attention-seeking behavior and, quote, aimed at creating racial tension. I don't know what he's referring to here. There might be like Israeli soldiers who are training snipers. I don't know what he's referring to here, but to say Jews as opposed to Israelis still. Why does it always distill down to anti-Semitism? I swear to God. Oh, if you think Malema is anti-Semitic, wait till you find out how he feels about Indian people. Yahoo. On a number of occasions, Malema has invited controversy and criticism by making allusions or threats of violence. In an interview with Al Jazeera broadcast in 2016, Malema said if the ANC government continued to respond violently to peaceful protests, quote, "We will run out of patience very soon and we will remove his government through the barrel of a gun." In response, the ANC opened a case of treason against him. I don't have anything against him making statements like this against the ANC government. My interests are in his racially inflammatory statements. At a political rally in 2016, Malema said the EFF were, quote, "not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now." The opposition Democratic Alliance criticized his, quote, "violent and threatening language." He repeated the sentiment in 2022, saying that he could, quote, "not guarantee I can't or won't call for the slaughter of white people," end quote, at some point in the future. Cool. Following the death of former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe in 2019, Malema tweeted a number of controversial quotes by Mugabe, including, quote, "The only white man you can trust is a dead white man." See, I feel like he really makes the case against him pretty easy here. If I say the EFF is the Kill Whitey party, I'm not doing it for no reason, okay? Like, Jesus. Like, I think that the GOP is an anti-black party, but they don't post anything anywhere near as overt as this, you know? During a 2021 session of the Pan-African Parliament, Malema threatened to kill a Malian member of the parliament. Reports regarding Malema's possible involvement in state contracts began appearing in 2009. Questions about his personal lifestyle were raised by the South African media. Some analysts suggested this is known as a tenderpreneur, which is the early emergence of a form of kleptocracy or predatory behavior by a clique of the ruling elite to generate personal wealth by capturing resources. Let's see. Okay, okay, we need to move on. Threats to journalists, investigation by the Hawks, money laundering and tax evasion charges, hate speech and legal issues. We've basically gone over this. He's got birds investigating him. Don't we all? Writing in the Sowetan, Andile, God help me, Mzitama, described Malema as, quote, "an opportunist who raised these issues, nationalization, land reform, etc., not to solve them, but to trick the poor who have been waiting for a better life for almost 20 years now under your party's rule. Instead of leading the new struggle as a selfless leader of the poor, you only pay lip service to the plight of our people while you amass great amounts of wealth through your political influence." I agree with this completely. I think that he's like Mugabe, or at least like Mugabe turned out to be. I think that he is an empty-headed, well, I shouldn't say empty-headed, he's quite smart. He's very smart. I'm saying he's an empty, in principle, provocateur and populist whose main belief is that he should be in power. And he will do this by exploiting racial tension, by being deliberately inflammatory and controversial, and by LARPing as an economic populist, when in reality, again, his only real desire is to be a demagogue. Yeah. It's remember, guys, Mugabe was initially, at least from the outside, appeared to be like a legitimate, charismatic leader of the people, you know? And then, the moment it was possible for him to be one, he clamped down, he became an authoritarian, he became fucking insanely paranoid, killed the people near him who he felt threatened his power, and just, yeah, it's something you have to watch out for. But I feel like time and time again, leftists being fucking morons, Western leftists, will soy face the nanosecond they see anyone wearing a beret. And they'll be like, oh, dude, this is it. This is the guy. He's got to bring communism to South Africa. But the same thing happens every fucking time, man. Every single time the same thing happens. If you have no discerning standards for your leftist leaders, then they're all going to be grifters who profit and, gain power through being able to gesture at these ideas. So anyway, yeah. Basically, the only thing that I'm really trying to get at through this is that I'm wrong, and so wait, no, not that I'm wrong. That everyone but me is wrong. There we go. Got it. I don't think there's an actual threat of people in South Africa voting the EFF into majority power. Most people here think the EFF are nutcases. Haven't they been gaining? I like how in this category of anti-Indian racism in Africa, one of the sections is literally just Julius Malema. Like, everything else is like a specific incident or event, but then there's a section for the EFF and Julius Malema. Like, they're that committed to being anti-Indian. We didn't even go over that, man. I'm pretty sure the EFF has been gaining prominence. Yeah, they won like 11% of the national vote in 2019, and the ANC still won the majority, and the DA, which I think is like the white boys' party, if I remember correctly, 20%. I mean, they're growing in prominence, but they're disproportionately loud, for sure. 44 seats out of 400 in the National Assembly. I just don't think we should be celebrating leaders whose main fucking rallying cry and animating political force seems to be racial genocide. I just don't think that's good, personally. In my opinion. Personally. The ECOWAS ultimatum expires today. We'll see how it goes. And Mandela's party is ruling the country like shit, so there's no actual good solution here. Yeah, okay, I agree that South Africa is in quite a bind politically, but that's exactly where people like Julius like thrive the most, right? Hey, man, the establishment's not doing well. Like, the needs of the proletariat are being ignored. Why don't you side up with my party, where we all go to rallies and scream about killing white people? Because that'll definitely solve South Africa's problems. It's funny people get mad when you call the EFF the kill whitey party, since when you point that out, since when you point out they want to kill white people, they're usually like based. Yeah, because they Pepe post. They literally do fucking Pepe posting, man. Like the lefties do it too. They'll be like, you can't call Malema fucking anti-white, and then it's like, okay, here's him saying he's anti-white, and they're like, based. It's like, well, come on, man. Is everything fucking Nick Fuentes now? Like, that's just the state politics have to be in. Should we call them black They're black ethno-nationalists. That's it. That's the ideology. All other this is like the case with all forms of bigotry, you know? Racism, transphobia, whatever else, where like the bigotry subsumes all other politics, you know? That's the reason why ostensibly the EFF is all about all this cool progressive and economic reform, and then what are they screaming at their rallies? Kill white people. Like, why? Shouldn't they be saying anything else? Like really, you know, you look at what they claim to care about, and then you look at what actually motivates them, and it's two different worlds, you know? Kill the Boer is a historical anti-apartheid chant, you goober. Okay, Laser is. He literally said, I can't rule out calling for killing white people. Also, yes, it's an anti-apartheid chant that's about killing white people. Like, much in the same way that from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, is both a call for anti-apartheid in Palestine, but also, let's be real, a lot of Palestinians legitimately would, if they could, kill all the Jews in the region. I mean, maybe some of them would in the whole world, but yeah. Dog, what? Wait, are you like 5? Do you not know this? Do you not think there are like legitimate anti-Semites in Palestine? There are lots of them. Just in the same way that, like, in American slaves, like slaves, black slaves that were in America, a lot of them probably also would have been genocidally anti-white if given the power. The minorities want this is not an argument in favor of genocide, you know. You can say, okay, so that was an anti-apartheid chant, or like this was that, that was the other. But like now that we aren't living in the apartheid days or whatever, now that we don't have literal fucking slavery, we can achieve politics better than what if we just killed all the opposition? You know? Why do you always talk down to chatters? You would too if you were a streamer. It's very important. I know that a lot of Palestinians are anti-Semites, but that slogan from the Palestine to the Sira isn't an explicit call for genocide, lol. The fact that some questionable people use it as much as... No, do you know how language works? There are tons of anti-Semites who use it as a statement that the Jews need to be pushed into the sea. That's not... I'm not making that up. I'm not saying it's like instantly bad if you say the phrase or whatever. But that is absolutely how it's used in a lot of cases. This isn't an argument against Palestinian people or Palestinian rights or an end to apartheid being caused by Israel. But that's definitely how it's used. And there have been plenty of South Africans, both in the apartheid days and today, when they scream, kill the Boer, who mean just kill Whitey, right? Like, of course, obviously, like, why wouldn't there be racial animus there? Do you know what white people did to South Africa? Of course there's racial animus there. But let's not pretend that it's not saying that. When Julius is like literally being questioned, like, will you call for the killing of white people in the future? He was like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. You know, like, let's not pretend this is not what it is, right? It being a historical anti-apartheid call doesn't mean that they also probably didn't want to kill white people then. I'm glad they didn't. Their anti-apartheid claims were justified. But if then, now that apartheid's done, they're like, okay, well, here's our like crazy populist quote-unquote far left leader, and he's like leading a rally of 80,000 people screaming "kill Whitey" or whatever, then yeah, that's bad. It's not complicated. Sometimes I feel like I'm taking crazy pills over here. You know, I feel like I'm like working back from first principles. Like as a leftist, we shouldn't do racial genocide, and I feel like I have to jump through hoops to arrive at this conclusion. You know, like. It's also just bad optics. Yeah, not even to speak of the fact that you give so much ammunition to white supremacists when like people on the left are pretending that, like, dude, people who are like this made Elon Musk right about something. Elon Musk said that it was anti-white hatred on Twitter. You guys made him correct. Why would you do that? Elon Musk has been wrong about everything he's ever said. Why would you give him, for the first time in his life, a single thing to be correct on? That sucks, you know? It's like how Zionists are actually a bad thing, or Zionism is I'm so Zionism's a bad thing, but anti-Semites use it as a stand-in for the Jews. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's exactly like that, right? Like, you can say, you know, I think Zionism is bad, while acknowledging that Nazis will say the same thing and use it as a you know, an anti-Semitic dog whistle. Vosh, I'd honestly love to hear what you want to happen decolonization-wise in South Africa. I'd basically say communism would solve all of this, but since that's not going to happen anytime soon, what's your solution? Not just doing genocide. That's it. Like, I have a very low bar here. If you want to do, like, massive wealth reappropriation or, like, economically populist programs, or you want to, like, do, like, forced integration where you're trying to, like, get, like, white resources and make them accessible to people from all over the country, there's, like, a million things you can do. There's one thing you can't do, and it's kill all the white people, and that's what Julius wants to do. You know? It's I'm striking one thing off the table, and he's over there like being you know, interrogated by a judge, and he's like, I can't strike that one thing off the table, man. I don't know. Maybe in the future. I don't know, man. That's it. It's the only thing that I don't want to happen. And I don't think it's very likely to happen either, with only like 10% of the public support, most of it being young men. Just, you know? I think the majority of your support coming from young men is like a red flag anyway, you know? It's kind of like how the brown shirts were all young men. The like animating force of your party being a bunch of like discontented, angry fucking young guys or whatever, it was like it's like alarm bells, you know what I mean? It's like a strong indicator. Vosh isn't the majority of your audience, young men. Mm-hmm. How do we get to the idea that some genocides are okay? I think normally when the subject comes up, people immediately go stuff like, you know, I bet Vosh would have opposed the Haitian Revolution or whatever. I think a lot of leftists, honest to God, are just fascists and will deliberately twist the meaning of words and reinterpret history in whatever way allows them to arrive at the emotional catharsis they look to get from their politics, you know? The process of actually making life better for people and understanding that that is like a slow and deliberate and frustrating thing, like I don't think they have the stomach for that. So I think what they want is big wins that they can feel good about, and the big win has to be very emotionally cathartic, because otherwise it's not a big win, and the greatest emotional catharsis can only come through really overt, over-the-top shit, like a black guy in South Africa takes power and screams he's going to kill all the white people so people can go like, based, based, based. And like, whether or not it improves anyone's lives is completely immaterial to them. It's not like they're not operating from the same ethical framework. Yeah, probably not good. Okay. Can you look at Emilio Gentile's definition of fascism? Why? Fascism as political religion. Words? I can't read words. This is a whole goddamn essay. Whatever it says, I agree with it. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. Like when all the Taliban had to go back to office life and wanted to die. Yeah. Why exactly do South Africans hate Indians? Didn't Gandhi fight against apartheid? Because they're racist, ethno-nationalist reactionaries. Indians aren't black South Africans, so they don't like them. It's literally that. If the EFF would oppose any wave of immigration to South Africa that was not like black African at the very least, and there are quite a few groups of black Africans who they would not get along with, because Africa is the most ethnically diverse continent on Earth. Malema apologized for those comments against Indians. No, you can apologize for whatever you want. Also, it's not just him, right? Like this is like an ongoing problem. Like also, it fully fits in line with his politics. Indians are big business people in Africa. Racism started as anti-rich. That's always how it is, though. That's always how it is. It's like, oh, here's a different ethnic group. Well, some of them control the money, so I'm going to initially channel my antagonism towards them through a structured dislike of the like ethnically disproportionate control of wealth in the country, but then it's always just racial hatred. Is it that difficult for a leftist to go, hey, international capital has created like a multi-ethnic conglomerate of groups that have a stake in our country, you know? We want to bring parity to South Africa, so we will apply these rules equally. Why does it always have to go to like ethnic group? Why is it like the Jews are training these people, the Indians control our money, kill the white people? Why is it that every single legitimate economic problem has to be folded into the language of racial antagonism? Why? Because they're an ethno-nationalist group, and that's the only thing they care about. They don't give a shit about economic populism. They don't give a shit about parity or equality. They give a shit about a black South African ethno-nationalist state. So any other criticism, every other bit of politic they have has to be folded into racial language. It's the same thing that racist and ethno-nationalist regimes do all across the world. To go to an example that no one's ever used before, this is why basically every economic critique of the Nazis was just another racial or anti-Semitic critique folded into it, you know? They couldn't say shit about the economy without saying something about Jews, because they didn't care about the economy. All the claims that Jewish overlords were controlling the German economy, what happened after they killed all the Jews, huh? Was it communism in Germany? Did they give worker parity? No! After they ousted the Jews, they just had fucking Aryan Germans doing every single thing they claimed the Jews were doing. Complete. And then they promoted class collaborationism. Oh, and you fucking know they would do the exact same thing, by the way. Considering the fact that Julius has already had accusations of corruption and has ties to other, like, wealthy people in South Africa, you know for a fucking fact that if they ever had their ethno-state, that they would be like, you know, oh, well, don't go attacking our brothers. You know, our brothers in positions of power are working to free us from international control. Yeah, because this shit happens every single time, man. Like, literally every time. It's so frustrating. And, like, the signs are so obvious, and you could just look. And people could just look and identify, but, like, they don't. They don't want to. Do you think if a white genocide actually happens, lefties will immediately back off, or will they double down? I don't think it will happen, for one. For two, if it does happen, there will be plenty of internet leftists who will be agreeing. It'll basically be like the Russian invasion of Ukraine, where they'll be like, well, I don't agree with the killing of white people. However, you can't deny they brought it on themselves with years and years of these, like, these aggressions or whatever. And it will be yet another horseshoe moment, because all, like, there will be, like, two sides to this, right? Because there will be the far right who aligns with, like, the Russian global politic, where they'll be like, you know, yeah, South Africa, BRICS, ousting the white colonizer. And then there will be the far right in America who will be like, oh, they're killing white people. So I think, like, it's kind of weird, because, like, I think that, if anything, would be a schism for the right, because there are the people on the right who are white supremacists first, and there are the people on the right who are Russia simps first. And there would be kind of like a you know, there'd be like a schism there. Or maybe they would find a way to resolve the schism. It's not like they have real, like, political beliefs or whatever. Wait, Vosh, you familiar with the actions taken against the Indian population in Uganda when Idi Amin was in power? After the government took control of their businesses, the businesses were just handed out to Amin's cronies and the country's economy failed. I know a bit about it, not all, but what does that have to do with the South Africa situation? Like, that's international, like, you know. You mean like this is what happens when you do, like, ethnic targeting? I mean, we can talk about the white farmers being ousted in, like, Zimbabwe, right? As a general rule, it's just bad politics to fucking yeet entire racial groups. I'm sorry, it's not good. It's not a good idea, you know? It's no matter how oppressed or not oppressed they are. Like, it's just not a good idea. On yet another, like, of Mugabe's wacky ideas. Didn't this lead to, like, a food crisis? Or am I thinking of a different country? In the 2000s, when there was a surge of violence against Zimbabwe's dwindling white community, and the main targets of this violence are Zimbabwe's white farmers. In 18th of September 2010, droves of white people were chased away. Instances of Mount Pleasant. White families were subjected to a torrent of abuse by suspected ZANU-PF supporters, Professor Flower supporters, holy shit, it's all coming together, who drove them away and shouted racial slurs. There were many illegal seizures of white-owned farmland by the government and its supporters. By March 2000, little land had been redistributed as per the land reform laws that were passed in 1979, when the Lancaster House Agreement between Britain and Zimbabwe pledged to initiate a fair distribution of land between the white minority, which governed Zimbabwe from 1890 to 1979, and the black population. However, at this stage, his name is Mugabe, not Ungabe. I said Mugabe, like, don't they say Mugabe? Like, but they don't say Mugabe. I've never heard anyone say Mugabe. It's Mugabe. Zimbabwe had produced over 2 million tons of maize in 2000. By 2008, this has declined to approximately 450,000. Holy shit. Less than a quarter? That's probably not good. I've heard scores of people say Mugabe. Really? It might be because the main person I've heard say the name over and over again has been Alice Caldwell Kelly, who's British. So maybe it's like a British pronunciation, Mugabe, or maybe not. Anyway, The lesson we've learned today is that in Africa and in the rest of the world, racial antagonism is not a substitute for good policy. Let's move on. Count Dankula called you out for a fight. Oh? Oh, shit, that's Count Dankula. In a trailer park. They have those in Scotland? Does he live in Scotland? Or is he just Scottish? Is he Scottish? He is, right? Oh, shit.
This is for Vash. Vash Kaczynski, or whatever the fuck your fucking stupid last name is. You good for nothing lousy fucking freedom botherer. Me and you, in the ring. One man, one male feminist enters, and only one man will leave, and it'll be this fucking man. Call me a fascist. Call me a fascist. You see what fascism is? When me and you go into the ring...
Whoa, wait, hold on. I thought I made my stipulations clear. I would fight only the weakest, smallest, crippled girl they could find for the ring. That was my precondition. I made my shit clear, okay? Only green M&Ms. Is he Irish or Scottish? Yeah, I don't know what the accent is. I'm glad the subtitles are here. Thank God for subtitles.
And my fascism ends up in your fucking ring. And that's real fascism, boy. Not your punch libertarian socialism. There's no such fucking thing, lad.
I think this is Irish. Isn't this Irish? The accent, I mean. I know, yeah, he's Scottish, but he's doing an Irish accent. That's not a Scottish accent. Yeah. Dwarvish? No, no, dwarves have Scottish accents. This is an Irish accent. Irish and Scottish accents don't sound that similar. You can tell them apart.
No such fucking thing. Get a job. Get a job.
Never.
And half pay for driveway and run off with the money like the rest of us. Good, honest work. Good half honest work. Me and you, I'll ask Samu Hyde. He only stays 3 caravans down. I'll fucking ask him, lad. I'll go fucking ask him right now. How can you be a
It's a traveler accent. I think it's different from Irish. Aren't travelers Irish? No, Roma and Irish travelers aren't the same group, right? Irish travelers are like super Irish. Aren't they like double Irish? Irish travelers. Sorry, I have to familiarize myself with like European racism. As always, it's a minefield. Also known as Pavis or Mincers. How on earth would you pronounce that? Are a traditionally peripatetic indigenous ethno-cultural group. What a fucking mouthful. Originating in Ireland. Predominantly English-speaking, though many also speak Shelta. Roman Catholic. Often incorrectly referred to as gypsies, but they're not genetically related to the Romani, who are of Indo-Aryan or yeah, okay, yeah. The Romani people are a whole different area. But I guess they both live in wagons or whatever, so I don't know. As of 2016, there are 32,000 travelers within Ireland. Wait, can I get, like, a YouTube video of them so I can see what they look like now and not just a photo from 500 years ago? Wait, hold on. Irish travelers.
Watch yourself, Paddy.
Hello.
Paddy.
Some people romanticize Irish travelers, imagining a free people living at one with nature. Illegally in Wexford, in the
Oh, is this why he's in a trailer park? Because they're poor?
south of
That's her son, and his name is Luke. Over here, see where the water's.
All I can see is a road, and I can't really leave them to now to play it, you know.
Homeless? Well, I think that British people tend to treat travelers the way that a lot of European groups treat the Romani. Right?
Because it's very dangerous. Obviously, it's a roundabout right there, and the cars goes around very fast. So I'd be
I got about half of that.
Committed suicide.
Externalise oppression.
Absolutely. And there's more
racism. Because you always...
I could be totally wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that in England, there's a law where the police can just beat you to death if you're an Irish traveler or Romani. Yeah, there's like an anti-trespass. There's some like specific set of laws that actually directly designate Irish travelers, you know? Irish travelers have a long history of bare knuckle boxing. Jesus Christ, living the stereotype. One thing that I never got about that, I understand that, like, Romani people are ethnically distinct from the areas that they're in to the point where I can understand there being discrimination against them, even if they settled down and started a regular family. But surely there are parts of Ireland where if you settled down as an Irish traveler, you would just be, like, Irish, right? Like Irish travelers and a lot of people in Ireland are probably ethnically and linguistically similar enough that if you just, like, you could, like, blend in, basically, right? I don't really know, though. You can kind of tell. Yeah, but, like, Irish versus Irish traveler, you know? You haven't seen Snatch? No, I don't know what that is. Isn't there, like, the relationship with the natives? Well, I mean, but, like, Irish travelers would be about the same ethnic group as people in Ireland, right? I assume so. I mean, they're Catholic, they speak English. I don't know. They dress differently, have a whole different accents. Is it kind of just like traveling like Amish people? Well, no, because they're not like anti-technology or whatever. Sorry, this stuff is always really weird to me. Because America doesn't really have this, you know? Like, in America, we don't have indigenous people except for the indigenous people, and we fucking killed them. And the ones that are still around are all dying of alcoholism on camps that we set them up in. We don't really have, like, in America, we don't have, like, like, in Los Angeles, there's not, like, a section of LA where there's a special group of, like, especially American people, or, like, super Californians who you know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's different. Yeah, it's like the nomadic culture thing. I don't know. Europe is a lot more, like, ethnically complicated than America is, because everyone in America is American no matter what. Glory be. What were we doing? Fuck, I forgot. I have to finish this, then decline the offer.
Fat communist! How is it possible to be a communist and still be a fat fuck? I'll fucking fight any communist!
Oh, he wants to go gut to gut, man. He wants to go gut to gut. Holy shit. It's been a while since someone's challenged me to a gut off. I feel like I wouldn't be that good at gut off now. My stomach's pretty close to being flat these days. Oh, holy shit. I just tried to fucking crack my back and it still hurts from... I slept so badly last night. Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay. Sounds like an excuse to try to touch tips. Well, you can touch tips if there's not enough gut, right?
That ever fell out of an arsehole. Right? I might steal horses, but at least I don't fuck them. This is for Vash. Vash Kaczynski, or whatever the fuck your fucking stupid last name is.
Well, okay, hold on. To be fair, out of respect for the Irish travelers that he's making racist jokes about, they probably have good enough taste to fuck some of the horses, right? I feel like if he's committing to the bit, he would have had to be like, and I, in line with, you know, my Irish traveler ancestry, all, like, we both, you know, like, you are actually my long-lost descendant or something like that, you know? Vosh, Count Dankula has retarded political opinion, sure, but he's funny. Is he funny? Oh, yeah, Count Dankula's funny for sure. I mean, the problem with people like him is that they get less funny the closer they get to their politics. You know what I mean? Because I feel like... Because that's always, like, the bit where it's like, the closer people who Pepe post get to politics, the more the comedy has to fall down, and the more, like, the framing of every joke has to be, like, a cover for the bit they're doing or whatever. Which isn't an issue with me, because I don't have to play cover for shit, right? Because, like, I don't really Pepe post. Anyway, the answer is an unambiguous no. As good of content as that would be, unfortunately, the main problem with fighting Count Dankula, or in fact anybody who's not a tiny girl who's already crippled, is that I would lose instantly. I've come a long way with the costochondritis, but to be clear on how bad it still is, I can't even lay on my stomach without it hurting too much to breathe. A single punch to my chest would kill me. So... disqualified on grounds of incredible physical weakness, it is not possible. Would you fight Shu? I would fight Shu. Wait, hold on. Isn't Shu like 5'4" or something? Hold on. Wait, okay? Because my thinking is, like, my body is strong, it's just my chest is weak, right? So as long as she can't get a hit in on the chest, Count Dankula could, though. Yeah, he's got big lads. He's like tall, right? Big lads tend to be pretty strong. Shu would beat Vosh. She'd be crazy. You think she'd be doing like cartwheels or some shit? Like she'd be flipping around and everything? Have you ever been hit hard in the face? I boxed for 8 years. Yeah. No. I can take hits to the face. Well, hold on. I could take hits to the face fine. I haven't been punched in the face in a long time, but I used to. Well, it hurts quite a lot, actually. Navosh, Count Dankula is like 5'7". Oh shit! With the reach difference, what if he never reached my chest? What if like Count Dankula is trying to get at me and I do the thing with like my hand in his head and he's like wow, or like I'm like keeping the distance, you know? Like maybe I could keep the chest safe. It's probably not worth risking it. I appreciate the effort put into the challenge though. It's good. If I ever fully heal, then one day I can throw my hat in the ring. He might bring out the pug though. Well, the pug would be an issue because I would probably also Sieg Heil the pug. The one biggest, like, that shit was so fucking dumb, man. Like, as much as I don't like Count Dankula, well, actually, wait, hold on. I haven't even seen anything from him in years, so I don't even fucking know, like, if he's changed or I have no idea. But, that was, like, really fucking dumb. Charging him under hate speech laws because his dog did a Sieg Heil, that is, like, so stupid. I was, like, yeah. His girlfriend's dog, whatever. I don't know. What about chest armor? Well, I will admit that the idea of wearing like a steel breastplate does make me more interested in getting in the boxing ring. Just it's bare knuckle boxing, as in I'm wearing full plate metal except for the gauntlets. You know, I just have my little fists poking out of this gigantic the entire like closet of metal that I'm wearing. I'm coming out in like Sigurd's armor from Dark Souls 3, you know? Let's go. The Onion Knight. All right. You want to go gut to gut? I'm ready. There's no way any impact hits my chest. Ruben? Oh, he disappeared. He's like the speed of light. You and Count Dankula aiming for the chest. Yeah, this is the secret to defeating me, the jump chest slap. I would not survive this technique. This technique gets an auto crit against me. You have to slap Artemy, Vermin Hands. What even is this? This is the reason why the EFF is racist against Indian men. Because Indian men would travel to South Africa and they would just roam the streets of Johannesburg and they would just jump chest slap everyone they saw. People got really fucking annoyed by it. I don't know if this is India. I have no idea. Man titty tournament? Yeah. Oh, fuck, my back hurts, dude. Cute cat. It's Chicago? Yeah. Sorry. Oh, shit. Oh, somebody linked this. Wait, hold on. Has he just gotten worse? Will you respond to Count Dankula? Hey, it's the idiot whose fans had a mental breakdown when he said he didn't care if his country will become less white or not. Rare Dankula L. Don't worry, a lot's changed since then. Okay, so he's probably just a white nationalist now. Wait, hold on. If I called Count Dankula racist and he was like, no, and now it's been a few years and he's like, okay, well, I've changed, now I am. Like, what does that say? He always has been? Yeah, I knew that because I know everything. But like, if he, what does that say about him? if it, either that means I better identified his ideology than he did, or I called out a lie and was right to do so. Either way, doesn't this just mean that in retrospect I've won my debate with him twice over? Wait, the debate was literally on whether he's racist, and now he's like, don't worry. Now I do have an issue with white immigration into countries. Well, wait, hold on. I've never won a debate twice, like the same one, you know? Maybe he wasn't back then. Nah, dog. That just means I'm like one of those dogs that can smell people who have cancer before they've even been like diagnosed with them, you know? That's not the dog being wrong, like initially. That's just the dog being the early detection system, okay? I got that dog in me, that racism sniffing dog. Or what is it when it barks? You know, it's like the Twitter account that's kind of annoying. You know what I'm talking about. Be honest, did you make him racist to take this W? Yeah, slowly like paying off people in his periphery over the course of years to introduce him to more and more racist ideas and normalize it just to like get the extra dub in. All right, hold on. We got so much to talk about, dude. Also, I feel like shit. I'm gonna have to do like stretching after stream is done so that my lower back doesn't seize up and petrify like a block of wood. Oh my god, you guys. Jesus. Paying £5 to a black guy to take over his parking spot over the years. Fuck. Yeah, slowly funneling like 2% of my total income into making sure that like it's just like a team of a dozen black guys who follow Count Dankula around, mildly inconveniencing him. Holy shit. Oh my god. That's such a good bit. You should watch Snatch, by the way, it's a banger. I don't know what it is. No, I did not, Truthless. Ooh! Wait, hold on before we get to the Kai Cenat thing. What is that? What is that? What is that? Yeah. Wow. Wow, you're so clean. What frantic cleaning? Wow. Yeah. Oh my god. Wait. Ooh. Wow. He goes to zoom even more. Oh my goodness. You know how heavy he is? Probably like 3 pounds, 3.5 maybe. I don't really know. Are Devon Rexes small, or will he grow the same size as Artemy? Artemy is a big cat. Even a regular cat probably wouldn't grow to his size, so wouldn't bet on that. But no, Devon Rexes are definitely a bit smaller than normal cats. He'll probably be a bit bigger than Pigeon. Tell it Jesse gender knew. Yeah. All right. Okay. This is kind of a weird one. Okay, we all know who Kai Cenat is, right? Kai Cenat, I think that's how it's pronounced, is one of those people who, if mentioned, will make people older than 23 feel really old immediately. Okay, right, there's the audience demographics. Okay, he's like the most subscribed Twitch streamer. I've checked on his stream a couple of times and found him really annoying pretty much immediately. So I think his audience is mostly 5-year-olds. This is him. So he's smiling. Is that a smile? I don't even know. This is actually a very unnerving expression, and I don't like it. Let's move to a different picture. Here's him being arrested. So that's something. What happened? What's Twitch? Don't worry about it, okay? Twitch is like YouTube, but worse, except with less DMCA shenanigans. So basically, Kai Cenat said he chose like this random open space in New York City, and he said, I'm going to do a PS5 giveaway here. Now, the problem with doing that is that this is how you create a flash mob. And a whole bunch of shenanigans immediately ensued, and I want to talk about them in their entirety, and sort of the main thing I want to focus on, I guess, being that, as always, I'm smarter than everyone else on the left. You know. So, immediately... Oh, well, there he goes, the cat. All right. So, immediately, shenanigans ensued, right? Now, the problem with living in a society is that people do really wacky stuff for attention. You get a flash mob, and it's pretty much all black people. Kai Cenat has a very black audience. And we're doing all kinds of crazy shit. See, we're doing wacky dances. There were a couple instances like this. I think a couple cars got destroyed. A few bodega owners got assaulted. See, we're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Now, take a look at the demographics of the crowd. What do you see? They're all like 5. I'm kind of not kidding. They're all like really young, you know? Like they're really all children. They all told their parents like, yeah, man, I'm going to go out to the park for a second. Why are they doing this? Okay. So remember how I said we live in a society? People will do a lot of crazy shit for attention. Everyone out here is a fan of a live streamer, which means they're more tech proficient probably than your average boomers, which means that they have more of an interest in social media. They're recording, they're getting their attention. People are doing little dances on cars. They're doing anything they can for their 5 seconds of fame. You know, that sort of shit. Now, to be fair, immediately a lot of people tried to racialize this, but if you've ever, like, paid any attention to white sports culture, you know for a fact that white people riot for no reason all the time. It's not a race thing. I don't know why people try to make it a race thing. Like, well, I do know why, because conservatives want to racialize all of this to make it, you know, seem like black people are super duper extra mega violent. But apart from a couple of incidences like the bodega attack and the cars or whatever, it's not really a big deal, okay? Yeah, soccer hooligans in Europe are a whole thing. I'm sorry, Ruben's like zooming around so fast. He's really, really driving my attention. Doing big hops. It's not good, folks. You shouldn't do this. I don't think it's good to do that. You shouldn't do that. There are a few other noteworthy clips here, which describe sort of the chaos of the flash mob, but I want to skip to the part where the police show up. Now, the police showed up and immediately did what the New York City Police Department does best, which is escalate needlessly. So, the New York City Police Department, correctly identified that this was kind of like a little riot situation. It was, you know, a lot of people, big, you know, big crowd of people doing hooligan shit. So the police came in and did some police brutality. They love doing police brutality. It's their favorite thing to do. Many say they're the best in the world at it. The New York City Police Department, I wouldn't put it past them. They're pretty great. Remember, this is the police department where they did like city-wide protests and refused to do their jobs because the mayor said they shouldn't choke people to death. That was the Eric Garner case, right? They choked Eric Garner to death for nothing. And then when the mayor was like, we shouldn't do that, that's not good, all the New York City Police Department was like, if you don't want us choking black men to death, fuck it, man. We're walking. Yeah. And they all like, yeah. And then crime went down. Hi. Hello? Yeah, move. Thank you. Bosch, I don't think this is true. I think they first dispersed the crowd, as is their job, and once there was no danger, they did a police brutality as a treat. My impression of the short clips that I have seen while looking through this is that the police were, as they often are, giddy to inflict violence on people for little to no reason. I don't think there was a serious violent element to the crowd, you know? We're talking something about 7,000 people showed up. That is an insane number of people to congregate on a single space. And in spite of that, I mean, no deaths. It seems like the cops did most of the real damage, as is always the case. So that's great. They're doing their job. That's what they get billions of dollars for. The New York City Police Departments to show up, make things worse. Everyone in New York City knows this. It's well known. So great. Now, why talk about this then? Well, first of all, I wanted to talk about social alienation for a moment. I know, from a Vosh stream, that's crazy. What are you doing? It's like I have a fucking construction team right behind me, except it's just Ruben, and Ruben is... I'm glad he's having fun. Jesus. God almighty. Okay, sorry. So, a lot of people in chat, the moment I showed the clip of the kids jumping on the car, were like, well, why? Why do they do that, you know? And I want to talk about how the kids are not all right for a second. So, it's kind of difficult. Here, there was another crowd over here, you see. This one, Jake Lucky, the Twitter account, posted this saying Kai Cenat's going to get a big fine, which no, he's not for other people destroying this. At least I don't think he will. See, wacky behavior. You have to understand, like, the character to this behavior, right? I think that a racial analysis of it is completely lacking, like completely brain dead. It does the racial analysis doesn't really give you much, okay? I think an analysis involving age and loneliness does, though, all right? Because people are really cooped up right now. People are really lonely. You guys have probably noticed that socialization hasn't really recovered after COVID. Like, COVID lockdowns aren't a thing. Mask mandates aren't a thing. People can go out and do whatever they wanted to do. It's before the pandemic now. And for some reason, people still stay inside, you know? Social engagement has dropped significantly. Everything is worse. People are lonelier. And I think that people really look for, more so than before at least, people really look for, like, moments. They look for brief breaks from the monotony and tedium of their post-COVID lives. And because they feel more few and far between, and because they're needed more, they tend to act out more. I think people are just getting worse at socializing in general. Like, people are acting out more. This could be entirely, like, anecdotal, and this could be entirely confirmation bias. I don't know. But I feel like I've seen a much larger number of people talking about asocial behavior in public, whether that be people randomly flipping out, people, like, road raging, people being weird at airports or coffee shops or whatever else. Again, I don't have, like, strong data on this. This is just an impression that I get. But I think that people are just worse at socializing now. And what's more, people care less about how they're perceived because they spent years locked up, cooped up inside their house. And when people stop caring about the social contract and stop caring about, like, the expectations of good behavior, you know, that are sort of placed on them, I think you get stuff like this, right? People are lonely, they're looking for a moment of attention, and also, like, who gives a shit, right? Like, a bunch of young people, most young people think the world is ending, climate change is getting worse every single year, economic inequality is at an all-time high, the pathway between, like, education to college to a good job is completely broken, nobody has a career anymore, people just have gig economy jobs where they have to use apps to juggle their multiple apps so they can do DoorDash deliveries while they're doing Uber pickups, you know? The path forward seems less certain than ever. And hey, that's my impression of things talking as a well-off white guy. These are black teens in New York City, okay? How the fuck do you think they feel? Do you think they're getting up out of bed thinking like, yeah, you know, things are rough, but if we keep on trying, then maybe one day they'll get... Nah, come on. We're talking... Like, this is a group of people who are even more legitimately prone to pessimism than many of you guys are. Look, I'm just saying, you know, in terms of, like, who has a valid excuse for feeling kind of doomer about the future, they have better credentials than a lot of people here. So I can only imagine how they feel. So they think like, oh, wow, there's an event, Kai Cenat PS5. I bet you a lot of them didn't even think they were getting a PS5. They just knew other people who watched the same streamer as them would be there. This is why I so strongly advocate for you guys to go out and socialize, even when you're only looking to have maybe one or two conversations, not come away with a friend or a partner or whatever, because you can feel like you're locked up in a bubble if you stay inside all day and you just consume your online media, when in reality, look, Kai Cenat is one Twitch streamer, and all he had to do was point at a place in New York, and thousands of fans came out. Now, he is, of course, an abnormally large Twitch streamer, but it's an indication, I think, that people are closer than they feel they are. Though still, isn't this a little bit disheartening? Shouldn't all of the people here be talking to their neighbor, and not, like, pointing a camera at the guy doing a dance on a car so they can post it on Twitter for likes? This was an opportunity, you know? They came out here, and they now have a chance to socialize with people who have at least one shared interest, but they're also locked in the system to an extent. They're also kind of committed to the mode of social engagement that they're locked into, which is social media, you know? They're there, potentially next to friends, but this is a moment to be captured and shared for likes or for clicks, kind of. Again, I'm generalizing. Obviously, in all these thousands of people, I'm sure a lot of them walked back home having gotten a few numbers or made like a friend or whatever. That's great. That's great. But I'm talking, you know, socialization is a language, and we can be taught different ways to speak it. And I think that we're being taught a very bad way to speak it. You know, this is, and I mean you. This is a community of people who are Riz masters when it comes to flirting with Discord kittens and shit posting on Twitter. But if I put you guys in front of a 47-year-old mom Walmart cashier for 10 seconds, you would all, you know, lock up and not say a word. The degrees and extents to which we socialize are very like fragmented. They shift. The context shifts, and I just think the context is kind of bad right now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, Kai encouraged his fans to go crazy, though. I don't care. I don't care about Kai Cenat. I think that he's super annoying, and I don't care about him even slightly, okay? I think it's hilarious that people are acting like he's some kind of representative for black people. Like, they do this with every black person who gets big, which is like, oh, I will frame his success through racial politics. Like, he's an advocate. No, like, he just seems to be a guy who likes the money and attention, which, fuck, that's like all streamers, right? You know? So it's, yeah. Also, yeah, Kai's the guy who covered up a rape, right? I don't like him. Yeah, I remember. We covered him before. Yeah, I don't like him. Sorry. Not a huge fan of the guy. But anyway, that's not the only thing that I've seen, okay? I just said, like, I don't like it when people frame him as, in that context. Well, here's a clip of Hassan. You're going to have to forgive me here, because we're going to drama bait just a moment. Riz is a Kai Cenat word. Look, okay, I didn't create society. I just live in it. This got a lot of backlash. I mean, this is a video shown on Keemstar's Drama Alert Twitter page, and it has 8 million views. Now, I want you to imagine for a second, what could an internet leftist like Hassan say to attract a lot of really negative public attention? Like, what if you could imagine something that somebody from our demographic would say to get negative attention, what would it be?
Innocent victim in all this, that he was just doing his job, going about his day, and his business got ransacked there. But from where we are here, you know, it does that the officers are heading back. You know, in terms
do you
of
see what they're doing?
Being able to disperse this crowd that they were able to do. You know, we did a story a couple weeks ago about how they were able to go after scooters by kind of circumventing them in that sense. And from my perspective, that's...
I fucking despise local media, dude. There you go. There is no better representation of how dog water local media is, and how much they exacerbate like narratives that you see on Fox News. What role they play in the boomer reactionary pipeline. Local media talking about $3 worth of fucking Doritos. Like, you know, there was a bank run or some shit. Like,
so the problem, Hassan then showed Philly being destroyed by white people after the Super Bowl. I think it's fair to point out that a racial framing of this Kai Cenat thing is totally unjustified. However, the broader context there, I believe, is that there were some bodega owners, like these old immigrant dudes or whatever, who were like assaulted or had shit stolen from them. And okay, remember the Black Lives Matter protests? Remember how there were riots? I was very consistent on this. What I said was, okay, you can say that the rioting and looting and arson are bad. You can say that. That's totally okay. Just accept that point. And then don't let the left, don't let the right run away with that framing. Because nothing makes somebody look more out of touch, especially as an online leftist, than like you have this like immigrant bodega owner or whatever getting swarmed by a bunch of teenagers who like swarm past him or like hit him or fucking steal stuff. And you're like, that was only like a little bit of stuff. Like why the local media is such fascist collaborationism when they pretend that this is a big deal. I don't think people understand, or at least people on the online left don't seem to understand how bad it feels to be a resident in this area and then just have thousands of teenagers fuck everything up, like out of nowhere for no reason. And then a bunch of lefties, because the people doing the fucking up are black, let's be clear here. If it was a bunch of white teenagers, there would not be leftists, there would not be Hassan playing defense or arguing that the media is being overly critical of the behavior. Let's be real here, okay? People like Hassan are overly defensive because they know that a racialized narrative is being fermented against them. And for that reason, in their over-defensiveness, they play into the racists' hands by making lefties seem like they are completely blind to these kinds of issues. Like they'll pretend that it's not a problem. You know what I mean? And I think that actually is a serious issue, because then you're playing into the right-wing narrative that like we're just we're so like blinded by the sauce that we're completely unwilling to do anything as obvious and say that it's bad when a bunch of like teenagers run in and like fuck up a bodega for no reason because they want a PS5, you know? I think you can say that really, hey, is it bad that Cenat's fans did this? Yeah. Is it bad that Cenat did it? Yeah. Okay. But then like challenge the racial narrative. With the Black Lives Matter rioting, looting, and arson, you can go like, oh yeah, those things are bad. However, like there's tens of millions of protesters not doing this, and you can't let the presence of something that will always be present in mass protests delegitimize the broader argument. That's cowardly. Simple as that, right? I was never one of those people to go like, well, arson's kind of based actually, except for that one time it was the police department. I don't know about that one. That one looked all right. That one was okay, I think. That was, you know, I wouldn't say that about like Walgreens or whatever, but you know, the police department one looked kind of, yeah. So the comments to this were about what you would expect, with a bunch of people saying like Hassan is a super ultra wealthy West Hollywood privileged lefty who would never let black teenagers swarm his house, but are okay with them swarming a bodega owner, blah, blah. I think you kind of set yourself up for criticisms like that when you respond in that way, if you understand what I mean. So, that wasn't the only weird take that I saw. I saw this, which is another, I guess, this is what I call kind of like Chaz leftism, where it's you have whatever type of like leftist brain rot makes you think that a bunch of Seattle hippies taking over a block for a week means that revolution is nigh. Dude, if one Twitch streamer can basically foment a rebellion against the New York City Police Department, maybe this revolution stuff will be easier than any of us thought. Nearly 5,000 by the time now this is thousands more likes. First of all, the New York City Police Department could vaporize the entire crowd of Cenat fans effortlessly. It is the New York City Police Department. They have higher budget than many militaries do for real nations. That's one. For two, a bunch of kids swarming the streets is not a revolution. This would be like arguing that every Rihanna or Taylor Swift concert is potentially like a focal point against bourgeois rule. You know, like, oh man, if only all these Swifties were like actually Bolsheviks, then we would have them on the ropes, you know? Really stupid shit like that. I don't like it when people do that, you know. Obviously, yeah, I see the reply. If anything, it shows how bad Hassan is at doing leftism IRL, especially compared to the leftism Kai did. Guys, I need you to understand, okay? Proving the point that black teenagers will pointlessly riot and break public property in order to get something as trivial as a PS5 does not in any way own the system. I promise you, racists don't mind it when national media is turned towards a flash mob of black teens fucking stuff up. They like it when that happens. And to that point, we have, as much as I generally like him, the worst take that I saw in response to all of this from Benjamin Dixon, who I generally agree with. Cenat just demonstrated a level of power that really scares white folk and those black folk who help keep the peace. So to reiterate, if you want to challenge the system and white supremacy, making the argument that young black people are capable of pointlessly rioting and destroying property is not the way to do it. That is, in fact, the opposite of the way to do it. There is nothing white supremacists like more than pointing at the news and going, see? Like, you could not feed the right-wing narrative more. You're literally spoon-feeding it to them. You're, like, cooking a meal for them and feeding them. It's a feeder fetish. So, again, I normally agree with Benjamin Dixon, and maybe he had a different impression of this event than I do. But, yeah, that take was pretty bad. Yeah. I like Schizo Abe's response. Just showed this to my racist father, and he became 10% more racist. Literally, though. Yeah. So, yeah, flash mobs aren't organizing. Crowds of teens being belligerent and destroying stuff is not leftism. The New York City Police Department was not victim to a fomented revolution. All of this is fake. None of this is real. Kai Cenat is a moron and a rape apologist and a defender of rapists, if I recall correctly. And I don't like him, and I hope he faces charges for this. Because encouraging a flash mob in a downtown area where you're like encouraging people to like, you know, go there and go crazy or whatever actually is a crime. That's not a made up crime. That's actually a crime, and I don't like him. And to be clear, a black person doing well in media is not like a challenge to the white establishment. Did we not do this with Obama? We don't even know. Like, Kai Cenat might legitimately have politics to the right of Obama. Like, we don't like seriously, this is like Obama politics. Like, the, you know, establishment has been challenged by the knowledge that a black man can be big at streaming. I knew that. Black people can get big in every form of public media. The places where they're kept out of are the halls of power that are quieter, you know? Black people don't have trouble getting into the halls of power from media the way they do in other areas. Like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, no one ever thought there could be a powerful black singer. That's why Kanye is such a good representative of black issues. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Kai Cenat's politics are like Aiden Ross level of analysis. Yeah, I don't know what hold on. Kai Cenat politics. I'm probably not going to get anything from this. Kai Cenat gets pressed for his political opinion. Sure, why not? 50-second clip. Let's go.
Are you stating your political preference?
No.
What is your political preference? Are you
Say something decisive right now. What do you think about Kanye?
He's amazing.
Whoa! Nah. You believe Kanye is amazing given what he said?
Oh no. Oh no. Wait a minute. Wait, let's talk about this merch though.
No, let's talk about.
All right, let's talk about the merch.
Nah, fuck that.
Would you rather have Donald Trump or Joe Biden? #1 Twitch streamer on Twitch, Kai Cenat. Barack Obama.
Whoa!
Anyway, right. Bulwark of leftism. Clearly, his success is the success of the black community. High level, high power stuff. I think he's just retarded. Yeah, probably, right? Well, I'm sure he's very good at business. I mean, clearly he has a good mind for business. But yeah. I don't like most popular people, his only real political position, especially if you have an audience of really young people who also have no real beliefs, is that he should be powerful and famous and wealthy. So he doesn't have any real beliefs to this effect, and he'll say whatever. If he felt that he could get more positive attention by defending Andrew Tate, I'm sure he would. If he thought that endorsing Donald Trump could get him a lot of attention or positive, I'm sure he would. Everything that I've seen of him has given me the impression that he's just another anything for views guy. Admittedly, a very good one, and the most popular one. So, like, yeah, it just bothers me so much when people do the racial essentialism thing, and they're like, well, because he's black, this is like him doing a revolution, and, you know, he's challenging the establishment. No, he's not, and no, he's not. So that all bothers me. And now let's circle it back around, okay? I know that a lot of people are going to put, like, a really negative stigma on the people, the kids who went there, like the black kids who were, like, jumping on the cars or whatever, but that was, like, 2 guys. In a crowd of 7,000 where people are all hyped up, especially when they're all young, it's basically guaranteed that, like, stuff like that is going to happen, and it happens all the time with white people at sports events. So it's not like the racial analysis just falls flat. It just doesn't work. I do, however, think that there's a real argument to be made for this, like, substitution of social engagement, right? Because I guarantee you, man, a lot of those kids just don't get out that much, you know? There's a reason why nobody has split-screen co-op built into their systems anymore. It's just people sit at home, they play their games, they meet their friends at school, but then they go home. If they hang out with their friends, they do it online. No malls to hang out with. It's New York City, so there are plenty of places to go, but I think mostly for adults. I'm guessing that it's probably not as good of a place to just wander around if you're 13 or 14 or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I've never lived in New York City. It probably depends on which area you're in, but I have a feeling that the whole street culture there orients more around, like, adults doing adult stuff than young people finding parks to play out or whatever. And they're all, like, cooped up, you know, and then, like, oh my God, my favorite streamer, or even my not favorite streamer, just a streamer is showing up and doing this thing here. Why not? I'll tell my mom I'm going to the park. I'm going to run out there. And what? People get some crazy video footage, you know, but I really just think a lot of this stems from a kind of breaking down of the social contract, because in order for people to adhere to it, to behave well and to make friends and to feel happy, they have to be kind of socialized into it and conditioned into it. It has to be something they work with. It's a constructive process. So yeah, I think that stuff like this is only going to grow more common. I think the world is just going to grow more fragmented and isolated and incomprehensible with time. You will be driving downtown so that you can get your errands done, and the streets will be clogged all of a sudden with some flash mob, or there will be banners and posters hanging from buildings and freeway overpasses that are just meaningless to you. People arguing for political causes or celebrating some musician or this, that, the other that you have no connection to at all, and you don't know what's going on. But they only happen in a flash, just a beat of energy, and then it's gone. Then people go back inside because people are so desperate for any change to this existing system of engagement, and they're being given like little glimpses of something else, but not anything like structurally self-sustaining. So they just kind of float with it, you know? Not great. Vosh, I know this is often used as a cop-out, but what about the parents? I don't, for what? Like for the kids who jumped on the car? Yeah, their parents probably don't pay them enough attention. They're probably not like being, you know, given enough attention at home. But for like the kids who just went out there or were like kind of rowdy, you know? Well, whatever. Like you can have good parents and then go out there and be rowdy. It's America. God bless America. Vosh, I'm from New York City. Honestly, it's pretty okay to walk around in New York. It's just people are more bored because there is less to do when you get into the 14 to 18 age group in New York. Like, I didn't know what to do with myself between those age groups apart from going to school, having a job, and playing video. Yeah, because, like, the stuff that you can do out either costs a lot of money or involves drinking, or, like, you have to be an adult to do it in a socially normalized way. So you just, yeah. We are going to be ravaged by the social enemy of young people. I'm telling you guys. It's true. This did contribute to the BLM protests getting so big, yeah. I think you can make a similar argument if you go back further to the Pokemon Go phenomena. Because even though that was pre-COVID, all the social forces that I'm talking about were still in effect back then. Pokemon Go days were so fun, not gonna lie. Yeah. As long as you market little goose. What is this? The culture
Among
war?
independents,
No,
they're actually...
no. I don't want to watch Ben. I don't want to watch Ben Shapiro. This is not a Ben Shapiro kind of day. Lamau, I literally just used Pokemon Go as an excuse to get my brother out of the house. Doesn't it just suck that this isn't, like, isn't it just fucking weird that, like, as a young person, there's not just a place you can walk to nearby that has other young people? Arcades were like this for a long time. Parks were like this for a long time. There are tons of places that used to be just like, yeah, man, if you wanted to, like, go see people in your age range, you knew of environments you could go to reliably see them. But now that just isn't really a thing anymore. You kind of have to create those spaces yourself. It's because there's less funding for rec centers. Dude, bring back arcades, man. Like, not just barcades for adults, but arcades. It's because of parking garages? Well, that's a part of it, to be sure. Yeah. Nice, Iodine Unlimited. Not profitable? I think it could be made profitable, but I agree that there are problems with their implementation. Kids can play games on their phones for less money. Well, that's kind of the thing, right? I mean, it's the same way that, like, you can make an argument that what is most efficient is not necessarily the best, you know? Yeah, I don't know. What's up? Is he doing something? Hey, everyone in chat, tell him, no eating Vermin's charger. That can't possibly taste good. Yeah, eat your foot. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm. Ooh. Well, gotcha. Mm. Boing. What the fuck, Flips? I'll take a look, Cartres Portiev. Yeah, of course, Air Ritual. They're all friends. All right, hold on. Ah, that makes sense, Flips. Okay, hold your horses, folks. Hold your horses. Sheesh. I gotta read donos soon. My lower back hurts. My lower back hurts. Da-da-da. Okay, so apparently after having gotten his mom to pull him out of the last iteration of this fight, Elon Musk is now pushing again for a fight with Mark Zuckerberg. It's happening again. The last time, so for those who don't recall, like the last time this was proposed, Elon said like, "Oh, I can't do this. My mom says I can't," which means he definitely asked his mom to like pull him out because there's no way his mom gives a shit about him. And then afterwards, that one cuck, Lex Friedman or whatever the fuck his name is, was like, "Yeah, I went over to train for several hours with Elon Musk, and I was impressed by his power and speed." And there were like photos of Elon Musk flipping Lex or whatever. Like he's such a weaselly, spineless little fucking suck up, you know, little brown nosing piece of shit. Yeah, okay. Right after the cancel fight, oh, but just so you know, Musk is very powerful. Vosh doesn't like Lex? God, no. Why would I like... All like, Lex is like the epitome of, like, superficial intelligence. He'll sit there in a suit and he'll talk to anyone, you know. He'll ask softball questions. He'll engage, and I don't think he's stupid, but I think he's a brown-noser first and foremost. If he actually had any commitment to intelligent engagement, then he wouldn't be such a fucking suck-up to Elon Musk. And that's particularly pathetic. Like, hold on. You have to see it. Lex Friedman, Elon Musk. I mean, come on. Wrestling with the boys. Yeah, literally. This was after Musk transparently backed out of the fight, and then he's like, "Yeah, I just happened to do some MMA style training with Elon. Look at this, like, these super real and not faked here we go. I did an impromptu training session with Elon Musk for a few hours yesterday. I'm extremely impressed with his strength, power, and skill on the feet and on the ground." How much did he get paid for? He probably got paid nothing because he's a dirty little weasel who doesn't have to be paid to lick his ass. So pathetic. It was epic. It's really inspiring to see Elon and Mark doing martial arts, but I think the world is served far better if they train martial arts but not fight in the cage. So he's just literally like, Elon Musk typed this out. Hey, after Elon backed out of the fight, I fought with him, and whoa, he's super strong. Look at these not staged photos. Anyway, I'm glad they're training for martial arts, but I don't think they should actually fight. You know? Look at his the first pick. He's not even pinned. I'm not a martial arts expert. I can't really say. It's Elon Musk. Okay, we've seen what his body looks like. We know he's not in shape. The idea that there's like a real fight happening here is ridiculous. It's pathetic. Anyway, why is Lex wearing pants? That is a great question. Why is Lex Friedman wearing jeans in what is ostensibly an impromptu training session that lasts several hours? Nobody would wear jeans for an impromptu training session that lasts several hours. More like he just showed up and was asked to stand or sit in these poses while Elon pretended that he had some kind of... Because it's impromptu for several hours? Maybe it's his autistic strength. Maybe. Anyway. Zuck versus Elon fight. Sorry, Zuck versus Musk fight will be live streamed on X. All proceeds will go to charity for veterans. Am lifting weights throughout the day, preparing for the fight. Don't have time to work out, so I just bring them to work. What? Is he saying that it's like a special testament to his dedication that he has a gym at the Twitter HQ? Twitter HQ and then you have time to work out. What do you mean? Is he like working out in the Twitter gym while sexually harassing his secretaries? Like how is he multitasking here? Anyway, I'm looking forward to Zuckerberg bashing pasty bear Elon on X videos. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure the Twitter HQ would have a gym in it anyway. Don't most large corporate social media, like big tech companies, tend to have gyms? A lot of large office buildings have gyms anyway. It's not difficult to set up a gym. You just need a big room at ground level, and then you just put the weights in there. It's not complicated, I don't think. I have a gym. Like, Google has free food and probably a gym. Twitter is a shared office space. I'm sure there's a gym somewhere in there. I'm sure one of the world's wealthiest men can afford a gym in there. Possibly, I feel. So it does seem like this is just being done to promote X videos, like to promote Twitter's like video capabilities or live streaming video. Here. Immersive video on this platform is starting to get pretty good. Just tap on any video and swipe up when you want to move on. I don't know what the fuck he means by this. Tapping on a video to view it and then swiping up to remove the video on your screen is like standard app formatting for video viewing and has been for a long time. Okay. So anyway, he's using this as a promotion for the X live streaming service. Soon I'm going to become an X live streamer, probably. Who knows? We'll see if it takes off. It won't. Oh, here's his pinned tweet on the Kill Whitey party, right? Fantastic stuff there. So because Elon fucks everything up all the time, and literally like every time he tries to do anything, it fucks up, I think that there's a couple of like possibilities on what's going to happen here, right? So here are a couple possibilities. Number one will be that the X video live stream fucks up, and because it can't happen, they cancel the fight altogether, and Zuckerberg just goes home. Number two is that Elon fakes some other problem, like say his mom intervenes again, and cancels early. My main belief is that there's literally no way they actually fight, because I just cannot imagine that happening. I cannot imagine Elon actually consenting to and committing to a fight with Zuckerberg, right? Like, there's just no way two egos that size would never fight. No. I think that Zuckerberg would fully do this fight. Zuckerberg is actually in good shape. First of all, he's a lizard man. And lizards are just physically superior to humans. That's one of the things that makes them a threatening enemy to the world. But also, like, he's a freak. He's like a steely-eyed robot freak. Elon is this big, wet, doughy retard. Zuck has actually trained in fighting. Elon probably can't do anything. There's no way. It would have to be like autism strength, you know? I don't see it happening unless Elon buys a win. Yeah, but he can't buy a win off Zuckerberg, right? Like, under normal circumstances, if Elon did like a show match against some like grifter piece of shit like Lex Friedman or whatever, then I'd be like, oh, well, he just bought him, you know? But Zuck's not going to do that. Also the age difference? Yeah, also the age difference. The fucking Blue Angels, man. There's just no way. Look at his robot chassis. There's no way, man. You know this guy is going to be training like non-stop. The only hope is that Elon Musk has like a tubby sleeper build, and that if he lost a bunch of weight, he would actually have like the steely Rhodesian Afrikaner framework. He would have the he would have like the chiseled physique of a man whose body is built to maintain apartheid, you know? But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that battle's lost. I don't know. How do you have this little hair on your body? I'm genuinely asking. How is that possible? I have hair on my shoulders and back. How does this happen? I don't understand. Are Dutch people like super hairless? HRT? Because he should be Dutch, right? Afrikaners are Dutch. Is he just the most feminine Dutch man? This guy's Dutch. Oh. This is like, it's like when you see what dog breeds used to look like, and what happened after like, you know, they got sort of mutated into their current form. This is 300 years of cozy plantation living in South Africa, folks, okay? Because like the Dutch are extremely racist, right? But the Dutch that live in the Netherlands are racist from a distance. You know what I mean? They're racist, but they're also mostly blue collar workers. Okay, they put their blackface on with their own hands. They put their shoe polish on by hand. Whereas over in South Africa, where all the Afrikaners have been growing fat and wealthy on their plantations, they have to have their black servants put their shoe shine on their faces for them. Elon's family is a lineage of weakness. Their hands are smooth and unworked. So that's my explanation, okay? Basically, they're both Dutch, but Afrikaners are foofy, upper-class, white-collar racists, as opposed to the earnest, down-to-earth, blue-collar racists of the Dutch. Look at this man. Do you think he would claim Elon's lineage? No. This guy's got, like, Rudy Giuliani frame. I like how he has his barber shaved down into a ring around his neck, so if he wears, like, a U-boat t-shirt, he looks like a human and not a gorilla. This is actually the weakest Dutch man. By the way, I just Googled hairy guy. I didn't Google Dutch hairy guy. I'm completely... I'm just saying whatever. I'm just saying shit. Anyway, yeah. X videos. Should be a banger. Bring back the hairy guy? What the fuck? Yeah, you're horny? Well, you better go on X videos, okay? I see the Elon thing. Don't worry. Yeah, this is such a... So I almost didn't feel like this was worth talking about because nothing is going to happen as a product of it. But Elon Musk posted this, which if he was legally obligated to hold to this promise, it would be the end of his wealth. If you were unfairly treated by your employer due to posting or liking something on this platform, we will fund your legal bill. No limit please let us know. Hey, if you feel as though you've been fired for something you liked on Twitter or posted on Twitter, we will give you infinite money to these hundreds of thousands of people across the world potentially right now. Is this about that NASCAR guy? It's not real. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. It's not real. This isn't real. He's not going to do it. It's not possible. There is no, hold on. While leaning with Ruben, my pants shifted. It's not possible. Can't do this. He can't pay rent. He can't pay anything. There's no way to do this. It's not possible. It's the same as the World Hunger Promise. No, to be clear, he could fix world hunger. World hunger cost to fix. About $40 billion each year to end world hunger by 2030. So hey guys, that means that it would only take about $400 billion to end world hunger over a 10-year period. Elon Musk's personal wealth is almost enough to cover all that. All world hunger, billions of lives. But no, we're not going to deal with that. Funnily enough, this covering the legal fees of everyone who would ever want to sue their former employer for being fired for posting or liking anything on Twitter, that would be more expensive, like significantly more so, like an unimaginably large amount of money, which is why, again, it's not going to happen. He's just saying this. There was probably 1 or 2 people who like recently had a high profile incident of being fired for something they said or liked on Twitter. And he's just virtue signaling to their benefit. So are conservatives going to turn on him when he doesn't pay their legal fees? Actually, something like that is already happening. I think I saw it was the Hodge twins. So remember, the program for getting funded, like by getting ad kickback money from Twitter, is you have to have a blue check mark. You have to have a certain number of followers and impressions, and then you are added to a secret raffle where Elon will maybe add your name to a pool of people from which a finite amount of money is distributed. Or to put it another way, if Twitter had a bunch more blue checkmark signups and a bunch more impressions, the amount every one of them would get would go down because it's, first of all, Elon has to just randomly choose you, and second of all, it's pulled from a flat pool. But I remember seeing that the Hodge twins were complaining that they weren't getting money. Yeah, here we go. We signed up 6+ months ago and never got any ad revenue share, and @support ignores us. At least give us a reason why. Because even if Elon exclusively gives ad kickback money to his like conservative grifters and brown nosers and such, he still doesn't have enough money. The total amount of money that was supposed to be sent out via the first ad buy through was what, 5 million? 5 million for an entire website's worth of ad revenue. Are you kidding me? Do you have any idea how much YouTube pays out across the entirety of its creators? An incalculable amount compared to 5 million, like exponentially, like several orders of magnitude higher. So even if he exclusively added his supporters to the payout, he still wouldn't have enough money to give them a reasonable amount. It would be like cut between a tiny, it would just go down with every additional person added. It is insane to think about, yeah. And additionally, what with the fact that Twitter is broke and bankrupt and losing money and can't even pay its own rent, and like this is after cutting most of its staff, it's not going to get any better either. Everything is falling apart, It's just holy shit, he's doing this for Gina Carano versus Disney. Is that what he's doing it for? Is that it? Elon Musk is going to... Blue Angels, hold on. Jesus. Elon Musk is going to offer a blank check to Gina Carano on suing Disney? Jesus Christ. I don't think this is going to happen either. I don't think this is going to happen either. I don't think it can happen. There's no way this happens. There's no way this happens. First of all, it is okay for a company to fire you because of stuff that you've tweeted. I have no idea why anyone would think that's like against civil law. Gina Carano was a celebrity. A person of her prominence and status would have to sign contracts with Disney which specifically relate to her public image. You can't, like, be a celebrity on the Disney Channel and then go on Twitter and start C. Kyle posting and then go like, "What, you're going to fire me? You're going to fire me? That's against my free speech." Free speech protects you from government prosecution, not from being fired. And even then, there are exceptions to free speech. It's not entirely like blanket protection. Death threats are not protected under free speech. And multiple people have been fired by Elon due to tweets. Yes! And Elon has fired multiple people from his company from Twitter for tweeting stuff critical of Elon. For tweeting stuff that showcases how bad things are behind the scenes or how everything is falling apart or his treatment of them or blah, 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 blah. He's done this to multiple people. Incredible stuff. Don't overanalyze. He's just tweeting random shit he thinks will make him look good. Okay, I do agree with that. However, it is worth understanding that as much as conservatives tend to be pretty consistent with the "we don't care if our guys are lying as long as they're on our side" thing, there are limits to how much Elon Musk can fucking fail and still maintain support from the right wing. Like, seriously. So far, he has done nothing that they wanted him to. Literally nothing. Literally nothing. And the company is headed for complete ruin, from being ousted from EU participation because he fails to follow any of their prerequisites for containing hate speech, to the company falling apart. Like, on every level, it's been a fucking miserable failure so far, his control. And if he continues to do stuff like this, hey, here's your ad revenue. Oh, yoink, never mind. Cat Turd turned against him, and Cat Turd is for some reason representative of conservative interest on the site for some reason. I don't know. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, we'll pay for all these people. Oh, sorry, Gina Carano, not you." You know, like, he can't. There are limits to how much he can do this. You know. He does have money for slap suits, though. Thank you, Quoteth, for linking this. Elon Musk's social media company sues nonprofit highlighting sites hate speech. So, yeah, he's taking a principled stance and saying that he'll help fund the legal case or the court case for anyone whose free speech was violated by being fired for posting stuff on Twitter. But he is suing a nonprofit, and all they did was highlight the site's hate speech. So this is obviously, I mean, this is the point of a slap suit, right? The point of a slap suit, if you want to learn more about them, by the way, there is a phenomenal John Oliver bit on them. But the whole point of a slap suit is basically, we don't like what you're doing, so even though it's not against the law, we're just going to sue you anyway just to shut you up, because it costs money to rebuke a lawsuit, even if it's flagrantly unjustified. So hopefully he's not successful in doing so. You know, he just does not want people to know how much hate speech there is on the site, which of course has gone up massively. Ever since Elon Musk took over the site and personally unbanned child pornographers, Nazis, rapists, and so on, the amount of hate speech on the site has just risen enormously. Anti-Semitism, Nazi posting, that kind of stuff. And he doesn't want people to know that. Twitter's suit claims the center's work has cost Twitter tens of millions of dollars in lost ad revenue. Nice. What is the Center for Countering Digital Hate? Funnily enough, true to his principles, they still have an active Twitter account. Probably giving them a lot of attention, too, considering. Based nonprofit. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, you know, any internet organization that tracks the amount of hate speech or this, that, the other online, I mean, they usually tend to do good work. I mean, you have, you know, hiccups now and again, but yeah. Yeah, hopefully the Streisand effect kicks in full. Though I can't look at any of their specific findings because the past few days will just be talking about the slap suit. Wow. Center for Countering Digital Hate does good research. They wrote a report about anti-vax misinformation coming from just about 12 people on Facebook. Nice. #1 hate speech website, vosh.gg. Yeah, let it be known that I will be issuing a slap suit to any nonprofit that that categorizes the hate speech on my website, of course, you know. The number of S slurs, man, and R slurs, my goodness, my goodness. It is literally every news org and YouTube account I've seen talking constantly about it. Yeah, no, it's a Streisand effect thing. I doubt it'll be successful in silencing them. It's a pretty baseless lawsuit. Are the anti-slap laws in the books very effective? They vary state by state, and no. Well, I think in some states the anti-slap laws are really effective, actually. But that's only a few. For the most part in America, I'm pretty sure if a corporation wants you to shut up, you'd better have the money. You better have the money. And a lot of people don't. All right, quit Pepe posting, you animals. And can't you choose the state where you sue? It depends. The state that you sue in has to be in some way relevant to the civil case you're making, whether it be the location in which something has happened, or like you have to make a case for it. You can't just choose the state with no basis. Otherwise, there'd be basically no point at all to state law, because you could always just circumvent it by going to some other state. That is true, Jake Simistar. By the way, I really appreciate you guys being here. My lower back hurts so much that if I move, it makes me want to cry. I must have slept on it something real bad, folks. I must have. I did a number on my lower back. I got to do some stretches after stream. Welcome to being almost 30. I was fine yesterday. Read the donos. I'm not done with stream. I'm not done with stream. Hold on. I'll read it in a sec. I'll read it in a sec. Is it time for the second physio arc? Maybe, but I have the equipment that I need at home. I don't have to pay for expensive physical therapy anymore. Really quick before we get to the last segment in the title. Guys, look, I got Doc Martens. Believe it or not, I didn't... Okay, so for context, because a lot of people probably don't know, I'm not the most fashion-oriented person. I've basically just tried to focus on not wearing, like, a hoodie and shorts everywhere. I don't literally look like John Fetterman. I try to wear clothes that fit, but that's it, really. But the place where I've been worst when it comes to fashion is shoes. For years of my life, I've had nothing but one pair of sandals, one pair of sneakers, and dress shoes. So I'm trying to get a bunch of new shoes. So I've got 6 pairs of shoes in the past couple of days. And I got these, and I found out that Converse do fit me, the 13 wides, so that's really nice. And these are Doc Martens. And then I got 2 other shoes, one of which is still on the order, and I got new sandals as well. And I think they look nice. I think these shoes in particular look pretty gay. And I think that's cool. I wanted some nice, like, camel shoes. What's the white pair? I thought it would be cool if I could pay, like, an artist to paint it. Or, like, use markers on it. Wouldn't that be cool? Why would you start off in those? Your feet are going to be so cooked? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, if I want them to be loosened, I can just take them to a cobbler and have them stretched. That's fine by me. That's the most rich person shit you've said. How much does it take a cobbler to break in shoes? That can't be that much. Cost of cobbler stretching shoes. $15 to $25. That's fine. More than I have. Thank you for the donations, guys, so that if I ever choose to, I can go to a cobbler and have my shoes stretched. I do have wide shoes. The leather in Doc Martens are stiff when you first wear them. I know, I wore them in the store. I went to the first Doc Martens in America. Apparently the one in Seattle was the first one. Who the fuck stretches shoes? I don't... chat's just on my case about the shoe stretching. Should pets be allowed on public transit? Sure, as long as they behave themselves. Also, more importantly, look. Oh my goodness. Look at him. I woke up and he was laying on my ankle like this. It was warm, so I had the comforter down, and he was just laying, like, on my ankle. Look at how cute he is. Wah. Look how big his hand is. Does look cute, expensive for the quality you get, though. The docks were like 150 each on average. I don't know. I bought more expensive shoes. My dress shoes were like 600. Those I need to get stretched. They're too small for my feet. But they look nice. Are you allergic to cats? If not, why are they all hairless? Conyer is allergic to cats, but I'm not really. I just think that the hairless ones are cute. 150 insane. Is 150 a lot for like a nice looking pair of leather shoes? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if like Converse is the Converse shoes were like 65. I spent 30 bucks my last pair. Guys, you should put out more money for comfortable shoes. Like, at least get good inserts, okay? Converse are overpriced for what they are, though. $65 is overpriced for Converse? High tops? Really? That seems like a fine price to me. Yes, they wear quick. Well, sure, but I'm not going to wear them on hikes. I mean, you wear them for... Okay. 65 is way too much for a pair of shoes. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, it's like fucking Frank Reynolds scavenging through a dumpster, you know? Like, well, you can find perfectly good... Look at this, a banana peel. There's some string, and look at that. You've got, like sandals, you know? $5, take it or leave it. Okay. Where the fuck are people finding shoes for less than $6? I don't know. You should, if you're like on your feet all day, like guys, you really should save up and splurge for like 120 bucks on some nice, high quality, well cushioned sneakers. If you work retail or whatever, and you're on your feet all day and your feet are sore at the end of the day, please God, don't smoke weed for a little while and use the money and save up to get a nice pair of shoes and inserts if needed. If you have like a wacky foot shape or whatever, please do this. Okay, it's so important that you do that for your feet and body. Okay. Not the weed money. Do not use cushioned shoes, Jesus Christ. I mean, like, well padded, like not just Converse or whatever, where it's just like canvas, but like, yeah, what do you mean? I agree, Blue 18. There is no quality gained with expensive shoes. That's not true. Flat soles are better for you? What are you talking about? Don't say that. No? If it flat, no, it should conform to the arches fuck you up. If they're bad arches, but if they're good arches, it's fine. Flat soles are actually better. No, it depends. Oh. You don't want the arches to like perfectly fit your feet, like you fucking like you're stepping on styrofoam and it's conformed perfectly. But you like go to a pediatrician or something. I don't know. Oh, podiatrist? Ah, gotcha. Ped. Doesn't ped mean both kid and foot? Or is it pod that means foot? Podiatrist. Okay. Foot in Latin. Pedides. Yeah, ped. Okay, so this is just they sounded the same, so they made it podiatrist because then otherwise both would be like pediatrician. Okay. Podi is Greek for foot. I just looked it up and it said feet is peditries or something. It's the difference between Greek and Latin. Oh, I was looking at it in Latin, not Greek. Okay, that makes sense. Gotcha. Go back to thirsting over feet instead of acting like you know. I just really think that people should invest in a good pair of comfortable shoes. It's really, really important to do this. If you like, guys, if your feet are sore at the end of every day of working, it's not just like, oh man, it's sore, whatever. Like that soreness runs deep. That goes to the bone. Like it causes a bunch of issues long term. You want to be careful with that stuff, you know? Like our bodies aren't made for us to be upright for 8 hours a day, like for like a cashier job or whatever, you know? I mean, you take a break, but human hunter-gatherers weren't like walking 8 hours straight, you know? Like they took breaks and they were also on grass or dirt or whatever, whereas we now stand on concrete or cobble or brick, or sometimes carpet, but carpet at a job is never comfortable. Carpet at a job is always like that like low grain shit or whatever the fuck it is, like low pile. So you want shoes that you can stand in for a long time without it hurting. Like, it's really important. And it's not that expensive, guys. A good pair of shoes that you can wear, like, all the time can be, like, $150. But if you're wearing it for, like, 3 years, and potentially you could wear them for a lot longer, but, like, that's so worth it. Yeah, and go to a place that'll fit them properly. Yeah. Yeah, Rokaz. I mean, you would want it done properly. I mean, there's like technicalities to this stuff, but yeah, Birkenstocks are nice. They fit the feet pretty well. Yeah. Aren't insoles another option? Yeah, inserts. Yeah, those are fine. Getting high quality, comfortable standing shoes. Best shoes for standing all day 2023. So this list will probably suck because it's from Forbes. But I want to, like, look. Okay, hold on. Best shoes for standing all day, engineered for next level comfort. Okay, yeah, about $150. $80, that's pretty cheap. That's cool. 150. 150 down to 120. 150 or so. Yeah, 150 seems to be, like, a reasonable price point for just comfortable shoes, you know? 80 is fucking expensive. No, it's not. Not for good shoes. 150 is not that expensive for good shoes. It's work, guys. Yes, it is, you rich fuck, lol. You know what'll be more expensive? The problems with your feet as you get older. It's a lot for Converse. Yeah, but Converse, you don't want to stand around all day in Converse. Converse are like thin. I would never wear Converse to a job. Converse are really thin. You can put like inserts into them and try to like cushion them out a little bit, but Converse aren't meant to be like stand around all day shoes. Yeah, a lot of people in chat are probably young enough that they have to buy new shoes every 6 months because their feet are still growing. So like, how do we feel about these shoes that look like they're an office carpet? I've always felt like they could look good with some outfits. The wool runners, that looks like it could be good with some stuff. But that's like a very specific look. I've never worn them. I don't know how they feel. I don't like loafers. Or anything that looks like this. Because I hate wearing no-show socks. I know that you can wear these with regular socks, but I do not want to wear these with no-show socks. I just don't like no-show socks. I just don't like them. Yeah. But I just want, like, pretty Converse. You know? Because, like, if you have colorful enough shoes, that can be the item in your outfit that pops, you know? Like, you can wear white and black for the rest of your outfit and have shoes that look like this, and that can be, like, the color splash that looks really good. That looks really good. This looks really good. I don't know why the picture is so dark, though. Exactly, Simric. Vosh, I got $200 shoes recently because of foot pain. They're very comfy. It'll make my life a lot easier. Definitely reduce medical costs down the line because using shitty shoes would hurt my feet so much. Yeah, it's so important. I'm glad. Oh, yeah, we got way sidetracked here. What the fuck? I'm hitting the ad button as punishment for all of you for listening to that. Fuck you. Punishment. Please look at retro Jordans. Okay, I don't really care about, like, brand name stuff. I don't... People always say Jordan's this, Jordan's that. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I don't know. Are these retro Jordans? See, I don't care about these. This is like streetwear stuff. I can't really wear streetwear. I'm too white. So, you know, I don't think they look that good. But I'm glad other people like them. I mean, it's subjective, right? It would look good with some outfits, just not the kinds that I would wear. Just not my thing. Do you like Vans? Yeah. Jordans look good, but they feel bad and they're kind of flimsy. They just seem like a fad thing, like Supreme shoes or whatever. I don't know. All right, moving on. Why are you guys being weird? I look away for 1 second to get the links ready. This one's pretty simple, folks. So if you guys recall, Trump's on his 3rd indictment now, and the most recent one, the one which is directly about his sending of a fake set of elector slates over to DC and the January 6th thing to overwrite the results of a democratic election. One of the conditions of the indictment papers brought against him from the judge who is very likely to sentence him harshly should he be found guilty, was that he had to restrict his behavior concerning witnesses in the case. And on Truth Social, Trump then went ahead and he attacked Mike Pence. So this is a little bit abstract here, okay? We're very used to Donald Trump getting away with basically everything that he's ever done. And this comes across as relatively minor compared to a lot of the stuff that he's done in the past. So why throw a fit about this? Well, he's now under order from a judge, right? Like, he has a legal obligation to follow this order. It's not like, we're not talking about a standard of decorum. We're not talking about, like, the, you know, what we expect him to behave like. We're talking pretty plainly about, you know, actual legal consequences. he said this, so, I mean, I can read it if you want, but it's mostly just him attacking Mike Pence. I don't really care about the content of this. This isn't explicitly against the indictment, but he's also attacked the judge, which is not surprising at all. I mean, the judge is an Obama appointee, a black woman, and a kind of person, based on her treatment of the January 6th rioters who would not, you know, take kindly to Donald Trump's behavior. And he also said, and I'm having trouble finding a screenshot of this, which is strange because I thought I'd be able to find it immediately. He said, essentially, if you fuck with me, I'll fuck with you. Why can I not find that? Can somebody find that screenshot for me? That's why I'm talking in circles right now. I'm delaying. I'm buying for time while I try to find... I am so sorry. I just got distracted for a second. This is a photo of a Trump supporter who threatened to shoot poll workers and has been sentenced to prison. And I swear to God, I thought that his face and beard and stuff were shaved into the back of his head. That he was facing the wall behind him, and this was like somebody had shaved the... and then put the glasses on. I just, for a split second, I thought that. Does anyone understand? Or is this just me? Does anyone understand? I saw one yep. Yeah, it's like the face and the neck are at the same... Okay, yeah. Whew. Okay. Right. Thank you. Who posted it? The Leftist Redneck. Thank you. He truthed, if you go after me, I'm coming after you. So, again, Donald Trump has gotten away with basically everything he's ever done for his entire life. But there's a very different set of expectations set in him now, okay? The weight of judicial orders. Now, in my opinion, if you go after me, I'm coming after you, is an unambiguous threat in the context of his indictment. It's very difficult to read that in another way. The indictment literally said, no witness tampering, don't talk with these people who are involved. And then not only does he explicitly name Mike Pence, who is guaranteed to be involved in the trial, it's Mike Pence. But also, if you go after me, I'm coming after you. Talking shit about the judge is allowed, I'm pretty sure. So, we're in a very precarious situation here, folks. What Donald Trump is betting on is that he's powerful enough that the judge understands that going after Trump early and putting him in jail while waiting out the court date would cause unimaginable civil unrest in this country. Because that's what would happen. Violating the terms of that indictment would mean that the police come, they arrest him, and they keep him in jail while waiting for the trial. The conditions that he was held to were the conditions for him being able to move about freely before his actual trial. So he's betting on the idea. Well, in all likelihood, it's Donald Trump, so I don't think he's thinking that much. I think he just believes he can get away with anything, and maybe he can here. But he's pushing the line, and I really think that a bad precedent is going to be set if the judge lets him do this. Because I think this more than justifies his arrest. Like, really easily, personally. And I think that by letting him get away with this, what you're essentially saying is, okay, well, we're doing these, you know, legal processes. We're doing our trials. We're doing our arrests, whatever. Okay, but we're still going to give you enough leeway and freedom to intimidate witnesses on the way over. And boy, the intimidation is real, folks. You got to understand, I know that Donald Trump is a wet, sloppy boy, but remember that he has literally millions of people who would probably kill or at least defend killers for him. If Donald Trump starts naming witnesses, naming people directly, impugning them, doing the same kind of covert, coded attacks against them that he did against Mike Pence, you know? The same shit he said on January 6th. He didn't say, go and overturn democracy. He said, go and let the voices be heard, the people, my beautiful pog champs, they are stealing this election. So if he says this shit with the witnesses, you know, they're lying to put me in jail, they want to jail me, you're special boy, but I won't let it happen, you have to stop them. None of this is explicitly him calling for the death of witnesses, but we know how it's going to be interpreted, right? Like, right? I don't think he personally can do anything. I don't think he can be a flight risk because the Secret Service follows him. And Stop being uncharitable to Trump. He's going to do a PS5 giveaway on the court the day that Pence gives testimony. Exactly. I think they have to lock him up, folks. I think they have to lock him up. No, I really mean it. Like, I think they have to. Because otherwise you set a standard where Donald Trump gets to edge closer and closer to a line of encouraging violence against witnesses and prosecutors and judges. And not just for him, but co-conspirators too. You really do not want to make it clear that there's any leeway here. He was explicitly told not to do this, and then he immediately went and did this. I don't know if they're going to lock him up, but I think the consequences of him not having that done against him is incredibly dangerous. And that's true, Crane. That's completely true. It will look more arbitrary the longer you let him get away with it. Go now. Arrest him now. Hey, we told you not to do this. Your lawyers read this to you. You went and did it. This is absolutely coded witness intimidation. You talked directly about Mike Pence, who will be a witness. You're going to jail, bucko, and let the unrest happen now. Don't give him time to build it up. Don't say, oh yeah, we're going to arrest you if you like do this thing. And again, do that 7 more times and we'll get you. And Donald Trump is like, they're trying to silence your boy. They said I could only do this 47 times, but I'm not going to listen. Give him time to rile everyone up, to set plans in motion, to get people coordinated and organized. And the threat will only build. You can't let him do that. Trump's lawyers right now? Well, right now, it seems Trump's entire legal team is like a cabal of grifters who are looking to extort as much money as possible from him on his way to the grave. You know, like, Jesus, Benjamin! All right. Thank you. We're rewarded for my great political analysis. You had better be wealthy. God almighty. All right, well, let's not let that distract me from my high-level political analysis. Yeah, that's a whole single pair of shoes right there. That's 2/3 of my Alden's dress shoes right there. Fantastic. That's not a joke, by the way. They are Alden's dress shoes. That's the name of a dress shoe company. It's a New England. These are the shoes I have. I still have the bag and the box for them because they have Alden's written on them in like gold leaf or some shit. It's way fucking pricey, but you know, it's pretty nice looking. So yeah, anyway, what was I saying? Petite bourgeois shoes. Nah, those are just bourgeois shoes. Thank you. I'd be scared to wear anything that expensive. Yeah, me too. Okay. You got to tell me the size of the shoes. 13.5? I don't know. Okay, anyway, I think that action has to be taken immediately. He's being allowed to do all the same shit that he did in previous... Like, look at this. This was from just the other day. No way can I get a fair trial, or even close to a fair trial. In Washington, D.C., there are many reasons for this, but just one is that I am calling for a federal takeover of this filthy and crime-ridden embarrassment to our nation, where murders have just shattered the all-time record. Other violent crimes have never been worse, and tourists have fled. The federal takeover is very unpopular with potential area jurors, but necessary for safety, greatness, and for all the world to see. So first of all, not only is his way of framing the cleanup of DC a federal takeover, the language he's using here actually leans more towards coup language than it does like, as president, I would clean DC. Like so he is so incautious with his language. He's not even pretending that this would be like him acting as president to, you know, exercise his power to improve the district of DC or whatever. He's just like, when I control this filthy, black infested, not even a state little place called DC, I will use my unlimited powers to clean the streets. Like it's so upfront. It's so upfront. He's trying to martyr himself like Hitler did when he's imprisoned. Yeah, and that's the thing. He needs to be imprisoned so that he's not being given time to just build up this huge wave of preparative discontent and antagonism prior to the actual trial. He violated the conditions of the agreement. He has to go to jail. You know? Jack doesn't want him in jail yet. Then don't include in your indictment judge orders and stipulations that you know for a fact that this idiot is going to violate. Hey, if you don't want to go to jail, don't intimidate witnesses or talk about these people. Of course, he's immediately going to do this. I don't know. I don't know. Folks, we're getting very, very close to... Guys, DeSantis's campaign is cooked. It's all on Trump. And Trump, based on the facts of the case and the judge, is basically guaranteed a guilty verdict and a prison sentence if everything follows the letter of the law in this court case. The GOP knows this. I don't think Trump supporters do. Trump supporters have gotten used to Donald Trump getting his way every time, getting his way out of everything. The GOP may understand how serious this is, but think about it. Do you think the average Republican voter has even read the indictment? No, they don't want them to read the indictment because the indictment makes it clear how obviously fucking wrong Donald Trump was. It makes it clear how often he lied. They don't want them reading the indictment. So the average Trump voter, I don't think they understand that this is real. And Trump is being given time to let them know. You all understand how dangerous that is, right? I think Republican voters should read the indictment, but he's not encouraging them to read the indictment. He's encouraging them to get worked up and potentially use their, stochastic terrorist powers to intimidate or even harm witnesses or people involved in the prosecution. Legal Eagle did a video on why they put that restriction on Trump. It's to make sure all the times Trump does it gets submitted into evidence. Sure, for it to get submitted into evidence, that's great, but is there no additional... He's not to do these things. If he violates those orders, that's like a stipulation for his not being in jail. It's not enough to just make note of them. Oh, it's that liberal shit, you know? Actually, by letting Trump spend 6 months rile up his constituency and organize like terrorist militias to intimidate witnesses, we're getting it all on the books. So when we actually get to the trial, you know, then we'll have them cooked. I'm sure there's some argument to what they're doing. I just think that, you know, it's very dangerous to let him run about like this. Trump lawyers, tempting fate. Trump's lawyer says he, quote, will be acquitted if Pence testifies. What? Mike Pence will be one of our best witnesses at trial, Lauro said Sunday during an interview on ABC's The Week. I read his book very carefully, and if he testifies consistent with his book, then President Trump will be What? Elaborate? I cannot wait until I have the opportunity to cross-examine Mr. Pence, because what he will do is completely eliminate any doubt that President Trump firmly believed the election irregularities had led to whether or not Trump believes it is not material to the charges. These are not free speech charges. He is not being charged on lying. He's being charged on interfering with the elector count process. This isn't a free speech case. Dude, I'm telling you, Trump's lawyers know that he's fucked. They're just trying to make money. That's why they keep making arguments that imply that this is a free speech case when it's not, and the indictment specifically says that it's not. They're really just trying to get as much attention and money as possible before they actually get to the court, and then all the lawyers are focusing on the elector count thing. It's like, well, he believed it. It's like, well, being authentically insane doesn't mean you get to commit crimes. You can't authentically believe that murder is legal and then fucking kill people and then prove you thought it was legal and then you're fine. That's not how that works. Oh my God. Lurder. Think they know Mike Pence won't do anything? No, Mike Pence will testify against Trump. Mike Pence has firmly cemented his position as an antagonistic force to Trump. You know, what the fuck is this? Is this AI art on Politico being used to advertise? Why does Mike Pence have blurry sideburns that go all the way down to his jaw? Why? Could you not have just photoshopped Pence next to Trump? Why? This doesn't even look like Pence. Why is he so smooth looking? What? Okay. Save those pennies? It would have taken like 2 minutes to Photoshop. Okay. All right. Look at the other shit Trump's posted. Deranged Jack Smith in our highly partisan, very corrupt Department of Injustice could have brought this beaten opponent case years ago, but chose to wait and bring it right in the middle of my election campaign. No way! I hope you're watching, America. Our country is being destroyed. Make America great again. This is from today. Yeah. Again, no way. I love doing that. I love doing that. I love your Trump voice needs serious work. No, I'm not trying to do like this isn't an attempt at like an authentic Trump. It's sort of morphing into its own like SNL impression tier. I love, yeah, it's super bad. No, I like it. I like doing it. I like doing this, is what I'm saying. I like that. I did everything right and they canceled me. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, the Barbie movie passed $1 billion. Remember when not Trump. Remember when Ben Shapiro said it would flop over the first week? Want to engage in vote blue no matter who? No, I really don't. Jesus Christ, this is a long thread. And it's already ratioed. Nah, fuck it. Couldn't Jack just house arrest Trump and take his comms away? Yeah, it's like a middle of the road option, I guess. Whew, I guess I better read donos. Yes, Dr. Strange. Thanks, Dana. I didn't even put anything in it today. I just... Will you ever get a supercar with all your big CIA money? Maybe. 2 hours until the ECOWAS ultimatum expires. Or is it? I need like a cigarette that I can smoke on stream to like express exaggerated anxiety whenever some shit's about to go down. The Nigerian Senate doesn't want to do this, but it looks like get candy cigs. Well, I could do a real cigarette. I don't mind the real cigarette. I just don't have one. All right. Let me read donos, folks. Jesus Christ, you people. Gonna hit the add button. Maybe we'll do another segment at the end of donos, but I can't promise. YouTube not showing me the thingy. There we go. Nice. Okay, hitting the add button. P-Town Spaz and QWERTY, thanks the 2 and 5 respectively, maybe. Benjamin Gilbert Leaf, thank you for the beginning of what is going to be a long series of generous donos, and for the $50 here specifically. I appreciate your charitability not only to me but to YouTube, considering YouTube Super Chat cuts 30% out of these. You're being generous to both. The scientist who thinks they're an expert in trans science made a video on climate change, and it's actually really good. I'd recommend playing on stream since most progressives don't accurately know how climate change works. Maybe, yeah, it'd be worth going over that. Climate change is going to be like a continuingly focus of the stream and of the world, I think. Yeah, I don't think that Sabine Hassenfelder was like a holistically bad scientist necessarily, but I think she was just being a bit nannerous with that video at the very least. And thank you with the additional $10. My goodness. Brian Finley and Rick, thank you for the 5 both. Really appreciate that. Travelers are recognized as a different ethnic group to other Irish people. They have faced discrimination in both the UK and Ireland. That really sucks. That's unfortunate. J-Man G with the very kind $50 dono. I really appreciate that. I'm throwing you $50 to watch the movie Snatch, one of Guy Ritchie's best films. What people keep... I don't know anything about this. What are we talking about here? Snatch, crime comedy, 1 hour 42 minutes. Remember when movies used to be 100 minutes? That was pretty good. Oh, this is the Brad Pitt film. Okay, I know about it, but I haven't seen it. Okay. Put it on the list maybe. Thank you. Sheep with the $10. If you went to New York, I'd show up in Riot too. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Raviolupe, thank you for the 5. One of these days. Prairie Fire, thanks for the $2. Enjoy your 400-pound squats. I sure as shit can't do those. Balthazar, thank you for the $10. Vosh's back pain is clearly because he's a big booba streamer. It's because of the added weight on my chest for me carrying the cats around like this, like at a big boat hold, you know? Thomas O'Mahony, thank you for the $5. What was your favorite part of the stream today? Oh, for sure when Vosh guided me through buying sensible shoes. I genuinely mean that, by the way. I'm not kidding when I say, like, it is essentially important that if you are on your feet a lot, especially for work, that you need to wear comfortable shoes, you know? Like, save up money and go to a nice athletic shoe store where, you know, where the shoes are primarily about, like, ergonomics and comfort, and talk with a person there and work it through and spend some time there and find something that fits your feet really, really well. Please. I really, really mean that. Yeah, they don't even have to be crazy price. It can be like $100 or $120 or something to that effect, you know? Ooh. You know who doesn't have to worry about buying shoes? Because your feet are already padded. See? His feet. Also, you weigh 3 pounds. Wiggly. Hey. Ooh. Gonna kick me? Ooh. Oh, I love him. Ooh. Me. Is Artemis still mad? Nah, they get along now. Gaffic with the $10. Thank you. These shoes aren't expensive. You people are just underpaid. Your wages are the problem. Complain about those. True. That is true. I agree with that. I just, even if these shoes were overpriced, and I mean, some of them are, of course, but I really, like, it's so important. You just take care of your feet, okay? You know? It's your chairs, your bed, and your feet. Like, you should splurge for those. If you are, you know, doing your computing on a shitty coffee table and your PC is busted and everything's busted, can barely afford like weed or whatever, like whatever you're going through, okay? If you have a good chair, a good bed, and a good pair of shoes, like, you're gonna make it. A lot of people don't realize how much the constant pain and fatigue of bad posture and back problems really work on them and wear them down over time. You're so many more problems are caused downstream, and this is even with young people, okay? Like, even if you're like 18 or 19 or whatever, when you feel completely invulnerable and immune to any kind of problems like this. I promise you that you're not, okay? It's really something worth respecting. Bought $500 pants, and while it was being checked, I Googled to see how much it cost to manufacture, and it was $12. Jesus. Okay, well, to be fair, Benjamin Gilbert Leaf, $12 to manufacture a pair of pants probably is a good pair of pants, because normally that shit's like 2 cents. God damn. I would never wear $500 pants. Though, okay, guys, I will admit, I want to get some, like, some basic block color t-shirts. And I've always been one of those, like, if you want to buy a t-shirt, go to Target kind of guys, because that's normally fine. But it turns out if you want to get a high-quality white t-shirt, holy shit, dude, you'd better be willing to spend some money. Because the problem is that a lot of white t-shirts look like this, even if they're high quality. You know what I mean? And it's like, wait, well, hold on. Why is it that when I'm looking at, like, models in a fashion magazine, how is it that when they wear a white t-shirt, they look really good? But when I'm wearing a white t-shirt, like, why do I not look good? You know? What's going on there? What's the dynamic? I don't understand. And it turns out it's really fucking complicated. A lot of models, when they're wearing t-shirts, they wear, I think they're called heavy thread or something like that. They're wearing, like, double thick, heavily woven white t-shirts that have a very specific kind of grain and proportion. You know, there's a lot of specific there. Photoshop? No, not Photoshop. It's like these are like these heavyweight t-shirts. Men's heavyweight white t-shirts. And there's like a huge difference between the way it settles, because it's a little bit like having a very basic meal, right? Like having a plate with some beans, right? And it's like, oh, they're beans. Well, if all you're eating is beans, the difference between high quality and low quality beans is massive. Like, if you're doing something simple, you have to do it right. Does that make sense? And you can, like, get a good white t-shirt anywhere, but then for, like, a white t-shirt that looks good on its own with clothing is a whole other thing. I'm trying to find the article that I found the other day where I was looking at this stuff, but I'm having trouble. I've also noticed that a lot of, like, men's fashion blogs will lie to you, and they'll sell you shit-looking clothing, and the only thing that the clothing has going for it is that it's being worn by a muscular guy. You know what I mean? Like this. This looks like shit. Like, this shirt looks terrible. Look at this. Look at how this hangs off of him like the neck flaps of a fucking octogenarian talking to you about how they used to go to school uphill both ways. Like, but it's like, oh, well, the dude's super muscular, you know? If you wore this without being muscular, like, all the shirt is showing you is that the person wearing it is muscular. I cannot find this article, man. That's super annoying. This looks great, though. This isn't just because the guy's muscular, because it looks good on him even when it's not clinging to his physique. I can't find that. This is really annoying. The article was good. Look in your history, maybe? No, I was doing it on my phone while I was shopping the other day. So it wouldn't be on my search history. Whatever. I'm getting sidetracked again. God damn it. I'm trying to focus a little bit more on wearing nicer clothing, because... yeah, why not, you know? Benjamin Gilbert Leaf, with the insanely kind $400 donation. Thank you so goddamn much. You know perfectly well how I feel about donations of this size, and I really, really appreciate them. Thank you. That is extremely kind. No, Benjamin. That is extremely kind of you. Jesus Christ, man. Apparently, Florida went out of its way to ban ranked choice voting last year for all elections. How would you go about getting ranked choice voting ballot initiatives? I've been wanting to file for a gerrymandering amendment to Florida Constitution. Would you help by promoting this when it's getting signatures phase? I can't promise any involvement in a political project because if you promote something, I believe that you're sort of morally culpable for its competence and performance, and that's something that I really have to make on a case-by-case basis at the moment. Otherwise, you run into positions like, I don't know, Cornel West doing the People's Party thing, where it's like, you know, more problem than not. That being said, I think it's a good thing to pursue, and you should probably contact me in the future about it if anything happens. Though I don't know how much like traction you're really going to get because the average American doesn't know enough about politics to understand why ranked choice voting is important. As for how I'd get it done, like locally, to be honest with you, I have no idea. My impression of the current political climate is that there's basically just no way to get people to primarily care about ranked choice voting because the whole like culture war, climate, fascism bullshit is so politically powerful that it's like not an issue people will care about first and foremost. I don't know if there have been any big pushes towards ranked choice voting lately that I could learn from or that I could get like a positive example from. Certainly not in Florida where the culture war discourse was enough to get Ron DeSantis governorship. But I don't know. I'd have to think of it. I'd have to think of it. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's tough. Alaska got it done. Yeah, but Alaska has 5 people in it. Maybe this one? Oh, yeah, but it doesn't have the pictures. I like articles with pictures because my brain is small. Yeah, heavyweight t-shirts weigh like 50% more than regular t-shirts. As long as they're comfy, right? Thank you again, Benjamin. Really appreciate that. Platonic Liquid, thank you for the 5 and for the donation to YouTube. And Forkman with the $10. You looking forward to Armored Core 6? Yes. Let me read the site donos. Jordan I-99, thank you for the 25 bucks. The Empire of Mali had a constitutional monarchy with a parliament called the Gibara, and Timbuktu had 700,000 manuscripts at its height until Morocco came along. Yeah, there was a lot going on in Africa, a lot of wacky stuff, you know. I mean, Ethiopia was running high even well into like the prime age of European colonization. But nothing lasts. Except for Western hegemony, of course. That'll go on forever. Nothing will challenge that in the long run. Mr. Gretz, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Smokeman25, thank you for the $5. Yeah, I forgot to talk about the boys. I'm really sorry. There was a bunch of new stuff. Will from PA with the incredibly kind tier 4 sub. Thank you very, very much. New baby. New daughter. Ooh. Ooh, hidden. Ooh. I love it when cats sit on their butt. There is nothing funnier. What the fuck are you talking about, Roman? It has to be uncomfortable? I don't think so. Ooh, so cute. Tiny scream. On the cat, the white eyeliner. Oh, I see. Yeah. Super cute. Markinator with the $5. Look at this loathsome fucking piece of shit saying the writers and actors are wrong for striking and deserve nothing.
The free
what the fuck
lunch.
Is this? Hollywood smashes writers, cancels trash contracts. What? As the Hollywood writers and actors strike continues, SAG-AFTRA have pulled out the big guns, but as actors are normally used to being given a script, their responses are not exactly unique or even exemplary. What? Because actors are normally used to being given a script, their responses are not exactly unique or even exemplary? What does that mean? This person could use a writer. Because as we've seen with Secret Invasion, Rings of Power, or She-Hulk, Oh, okay. So this is a person who doesn't understand anything about Hollywood, but is a conservative and uses Hollywood projects as a conservative rallying point. Because as we've seen with Secret Invasion, Rings of Powers, and She-Hulk, writers are not particularly talented in the first place. They do know that, like, writers write everything, right? Not just the things they don't like, but also all the good things that they do like. They know that the writers do all that, right? They also know that writers don't have final say on a lot of the projects that they work on, and that oftentimes producers will interfere or meddle or set deadlines or guidelines that don't work towards the project. Nah, this is just a retard. There's no point in even looking. Why would I support the Hollywood SAG-AFTRA strike if some of the people in that strike who weren't being given a living wage and had horrible conditions, some of them worked on She-Hulk. Why would I support that? Yeah, there's nothing. Just worthless scum. Low IQ. Pat Matt Enjoyer with the 2137. Thank you so goddamn much. Hi, Vosh. Just want to share my love to Czechoslovak Pat and Matt show. What? This is maybe copyright? This might be copyright. It could be. I don't know if it is. It really depends on the holding company. I have no idea. Sorry, I can't risk it. Also, this is unlisted, so who the fuck knows? This is like what? Czechoslovak? This is like they could pull out like a fucking dick, a little claymation dick at some point. I don't know. There's no way of knowing. Watch it, Vosh? Nope, sorry. Strict rules. It was communist made. Yeah, and then when the Eastern Bloc fell apart and became like fully capitalist, corporations scooped up the rights. Sake, thank you for the 4 tier 1 subs. God willing. Annie, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Trump's Lady Lumps, thank you for the 2 750 donos. I really appreciate that. Speaking as a 28-year-old ex-white nationalist Catholic from Florida, that's a lot. I'd love to chat about how we on the left can properly teach our comrades how to effectively communicate with people outside our bubble. I can't promise a conversation because I'm pretty backed up at the moment, but I agree that it's an essential topic, you know? Unfortunately, a lot of leftists are only really capable of talking to like permanently online young people who are already left-leaning and would fall apart in a conversation with anyone from Middle America or the South pretty much immediately. Anyone who doesn't already live in like a major coastal city. But yeah, it's definitely something that we need to work on. All the same, thank you very much for the offer. I really do appreciate it. I'll continue to talk about it. Cathartic arrest of the $5. In the same way that you're a gender abolitionist, would you consider yourself a sexuality abolitionist? Yeah, the terms for sexuality are unironically retarded. Like, actually, genuinely. Even if you're not a gender abolitionist, okay? Like, it is a fact of the matter that, that, like, tons of straight guys go after femboys, right? Like, and then, like, you have the femboy / trans woman divide where it's literally, like, an identity thing, and there are, like, HRT femboys and HRT trans or non-HRT trans women. And it's like, let's be real. This is fucking stupid, okay? If you're into mask people, if you're into femme people, like whatever, I don't care, whatever genitals you like, but like it's just stupid. Yeah. Even without like acknowledging trans people, even if everything was kept within the purview of cisgender people, the fact that so many straight guys lose their shit over femboys already raises questions. Well, okay, so is it just like that many guys are actually bisexual? You know? Or is it like, are you really just attracted to femininity more than anything else? And there are just some femboys who are really feminine, and that's fine with you. You know? Yeah. That's true, Lucky Otter. And then there's the lesbian discourse. Yeah, I ignore that because, like, it's lesbian business, and, like, they're all dumb, so... Yeah, as if it's not like helping people arrive at a better understanding of themselves, Vermin, then it's doing the opposite of the point. Lord Wormeye, thanks the tier 2 sub. I'll try to show more of Pigeon. She just doesn't wander by as much as Ruben does. El Bieber, thank you for the tier 1 sub. German Delinka nominated Sea Rescuer Corolla Racket for EU election. I don't know what that means exactly, but I'll look into it. There's something there. Cathartic Arrest, thank you for the $5. Congratulations on being 7 months clean and sober today. Hell yeah. Cathartic Arrest says that they love you, chat. Well done. Ang, or Angie, or I'm not entirely sure it's pronounced. Thank you for the $15. Donating for the crazy amount of hours I've watched as a Shadow of Haushite. Are the Blue Angels still actively sabotaging their streams? Yes. As a matter of fact, they were overhead just a little while ago. Uh-oh. Thank you very much. Paying your viewer tax. There's a big setup happening right now, folks. Something big is coming. It's like a Terraria, when the Eye of Cthulhu is going to spawn soon. A matter most foul is a-brewing.
This is what she's been up to. Maybe I didn't.
We've found her.
This is why she doesn't say hi. She's always in a blanket.
Yeah, she's in the bunker.
Pigeon. It's like, okay.
Look, she's a lump. You can see her butt. Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, you're happy?
Cozy. Staring right at you, chat. Oh, okay. She's hard to hold with one hand.
Ooh, she yawned again.
Big.
Back to the room. Oh my god.
Big sleepy. Oh, yeah. That's an awkward angle. Did you see One Piece this week? No, I haven't watched any of the anime. I mean, I'm well past that point in the manga, though. I'm glad people are enjoying the Gear 5. I've never really cared much for the big, like, Sakuga moments in the One Piece animations that I see, because they always come across as really frenetic and kind of busy in a way that I don't really like. But, you know, I don't think they're bad. They're just not to my taste, I think. I need to watch Jujutsu Kaisen. I watched the first season. I have to watch the second one. I haven't gotten the shirts yet, Tempest. I have to get the shirts. I need to get the fashionable shirts. Okay. Tuesday, thank you for the cobbler money. Angie and Quoteth, thank you for the $5. Hopefully not Quoteth. Gotta say, the main asset Elon has a fighter is the Mack truck-sized face I have trouble staring at for more than a couple seconds. He does have a very big face, but I feel like that makes it for more of a target, right? That would make him weaker. Supermarket Zombies, thank you for the $5. Whoa, settle down there, saltine American Hassan, with the big Mr. Big Shot $65 Chuck Taylors. Fucking Lambo shoe wearing honky. Over here, over there, you math. Thank you. Hey, listen, Hassan is also a white boy, according to him, all right? Stoveball, thanks the $10. If you want to break chat's brain, check boots. Even my kind of crappy Belleville boots the USAF issued to me for free cost $170, and the Rockies I won are $300. Oh yeah, good boots are expensive, but good boots, if they're good, will last literally your whole lifetime. You know, so it's so you're putting down quite an investment. Boots are claustrophobic. Yeah, I admit they can be. Also, look at how good they look. These are only $200. Look at that. Telling me you're not going to look good walking around like that? The real secret to being good at shoe shopping is being willing to annoy the person who's working there. Actually, in my experience, I don't think I've ever annoyed a person working at a shoe store because they usually work on commission. So if you're like, yeah, man, stick with me for 15 minutes and help me try this stuff on, and then you'll get like, yeah. King Megachad, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Benjamin Gilbert Leaf, thank you for the tier 4 sub. I don't even know what to do with you, man. Thank you very much. Happy to see you in chat. Thank you very much. Got to renew the tier 4? Yes, you do. Rug Shitter with the $5. Thank you very, very much. AOVish, I want to point out that basically everybody who would break the law for Trump got arrested for J6. Don't you find it curious June was terror-free? Well, they were arrested a long time ago. I mean, you mean the actual rioters? We'll see how things go if he actually, like, gets convicted. Quota, thank you for the $5. To combat the rising tide of social isolation, chatters should meet up. So New York City chatters, make a time and date ASAP. Please, I don't want to. Yeah, don't meet up with each other. It's probably good to diversify the social poll just a little bit. Just a smidge. Lord Wormeye, thank you for the $20. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you! Appalachian Anarchist, thanks to 5. I love your cats, Katsu, Soba, and Yikitori. They're all brothers sharing a brain cell. Lovely. And Travis Pink, the 5 Canadian. Hey, Voosh from Canada, smiley face. I'm the only employee for a small business just hired this year. How can I sell my boss on ideas like profit sharing? As the only employee? Good luck. You can't even unionize. You're just you. Yeah, good. I don't know. Suck their dick? Really good? I don't know. I'm sorry. That's a uphill bargain right there. You are negotiating from a place with basically no leverage. You just started too. Yeah, don't actually offer to suck their dick. That's bad for a number of reasons. Don't actually do that. NASA's restored full contact with Voyager 2. Nice! Thank you, Prairie. I'm happy to hear that. We get more cool stuff out of that. When in doubt, try head. It works with some stuff. I checked some Kai clips. I thought your gat was annoying, but it can get so much worse. No, Kai Cenat legitimately is extremely annoying. Also, PV helped crack my egg back in April, so kudos to them. Oh, nice. See, that's the real reason people politically organize, folks. It's so they can become transgender, is the real reason. Superconductor stuff is going pretty well, Iris the Dark Mage. It looks like it might actually be, like, real. So my goal... Okay, I'm going to do a quick drawing, okay? My goal right now, vis-a-vis, like, getting some nice clothing, is I feel... Okay, so here's the thing, right? Okay? Outfits should actually be really simple, you know? Like, it's not that complicated, okay? Here's an outfit, all right? So, you can have, like, a shirt, and then you can have, like, pants, and then you can have your shoes, right? And then maybe you have something on over the shirt, like a jacket or a t-shirt. And then that's basically all outfits, okay? If you're a guy, at least. That's like all outfits. Also, get a nice belt. I don't have a nice belt. I need a nice belt. Well, I have a nice belt in the sense that it's expensive and made of leather, but I want a belt with a big golden buckle. Okay? So, I feel like all you need to do is have some nice t-shirts and then some nice sleeveless, or not sleeveless, short-sleeved dress shirts, and some nice long-sleeved dress shirts, and some nice jackets, and some nice shorts. Oh, you need shorts, right? Yeah. Wah. There you go. That's great. And then the big golden belt buckle. And then a scarf. No. You need underwear? Nah. I feel like fashion is easier in places where it's cold really often, because you can look fashionable super easily if you wear a coat and a scarf, which is what you're going to be wearing when it's really cold, you know? But if it's really warm, it's a lot harder, I think, to make the sandals or the shoes and the shorts and so on. You still have that hippy dippy belt, right? It was taken back from me, I think. Yeah, especially for guys. Sorry, folks. My lower back hurts to the point where it's kind of distracting. I'm going to do some, like, stretches and eat a lot of food, because you want food to rebuild damaged muscle fibers. So I'm going to go do that. Zan is streaming in 30 minutes. I'm afraid 30 minutes is 30 minutes too far, folks. I am going to check really quickly who's online. I'm also going to hit the add button because I'm a greedy piece of shit, frankly. Lumi! Folks, Lumi's streaming. How long has it been since we've seen them, huh? Also, Lumi's hair is, I've heard, purple. Purple's a cool color, you know. Not my favorite color, personally. I like dark red, but purple's up there. I'm going to send you all to Lumi, and you're all going to be nice to them, because I don't know why you wouldn't be. That'd be weird not to. I'm going to be here tomorrow, folks, and it's going to be a banger of a time. Maybe we'll talk about the guys. You know, we didn't talk about the guys the other day, and I didn't talk about the guys today, so maybe we should talk about the guys tomorrow. You know? The guys. Love you guys. Take care. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum bum. Bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Ba 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 bum 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 bum.